crazy. It's the day. It's the big 14, I think.
God damn it. See, that's nuts. I was just thinking when I was getting ready, I was like, I don't even know what number this is because I feel like in reality, we shouldn't be past like 7.
Yeah, there's some qualifiers here. So we did the Christmas one.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a short. It wasn't like a full on. It was kind of like a mini mini boomer. No, a mini bonus Spookysode, whatever. Who are we? Why are we here? So it's like, does that count? But all in all, I believe that this is quite technically Spookysode 14.
That's crazy. I don't even remember half the shit I've talked about.
What stands out the most to you in things that we have researched? To me, it's always first and foremost going to be the human, the real side of things. But outside of that, the Men in Black.
Yeah, that episode.
The Black-Eyed Children.
I remember recording that episode. And I don't remember recording many of our episodes, but it's like I remember and can visually repaint recording that episode.
You know, something I didn't tell you is in episode recent, we were talking about the incident where when I was going through and re-listening to the Spookysode and doing editing and whatnot, my Google Home popped off and was listening for no reason. And didn't make the doo-doo noise. It was just sitting there listening with a little light blinking. Well, we talked about that, and then it did it again later that night. And those are the only 2 instances wherein that has happened.
That's just
and if
right
it happens,
there. That's why you need to gather all of those up into a bag and throw them away.
But listen, the convenience of turning off my light without having to move is well worth it.
No way. No way. I don't trust them. How do I sound? Do I sound okay?
You sound wonderful. You sound, what did someone say on our Facebook coven? Quispy?
Oh, yeah. Crispy.
See, the new mics sound crispy.
I'm having to break 3 years of habit with the kind of mics. I'm making myself sit right up on it and trying to get better about doing that. And it's hard.
Same.
Yeah, it's hard. And so I have my mic arm with it rammed all the way into my face. So I can't really move very much, but it's like, no, you're going to speak into this today. It's the whole fucking point.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we normally have microphones that are good for, you know, what they do, but for podcasting, when it's so important for the voice to come through or whatever, okay, so this is what I sound like kind of as far away as we normally would be. And that's fine, but like just to get it to you, we're not used to putting our face right here because our loud honking animal voices usually blow.
Yeah, it would just be like, and that would be what you would hear.
Just like that. And then we'd get emails about it for 40 years about, did you know in your scary episode number 4, there's a demon sound and it's just us.
Yeah, it's just our gear.
Anytime you watch someone that does a podcast, but also does a visual format, their faces are right up on the mics. So sitting here talking like this, it makes me feel like a very grown-up, legitimate podcaster.
You know, it does. And I'm like wearing they're not fancy at all. They're like just cheap ass, but I'm wearing my cans too.
You know, cans?
So I'm like sitting up on here with like my headphones, with my like equipment and my, what is this fucking interface? Like that's new, you know, and I just feel
that's new. Man, when we're finally when we're not really recording so much online like we are now, and you can hear a little of that mechanical noise and the mixing gets strange if Macy and I talk over each other, our voices or sputter. When we're away from that, you won't be able to stop us. You hoes are in for it.
I'm excited, but I thought about that. Because we have not fully tested these mics because we've not been able to record inside in the same room yet. Yeah. And for when we can record in the Zen room, which is a dampened space, like all the walls are covered and whatnot, like that with these 2 mics and us like right up on them, I just feel like it's going to sound like fucking silk, and I can't wait.
I thought you were going to say it's going to sound like fucking sex.
Same shit. Like, I can't wait. Like, I just can't wait. I think it's going to sound so good.
So shall we strike some matches and light some candles and get this spooky atmosphere rolling?
Yeah, here. I have some juniper. I'll fucking crisp it up here.
Crispy.
It's really dry, so I gotta make sure I don't set my mic on fire with a pillar of
Oh my
flame.
God, could you imagine? After we talk so much
Oh, yeah.
shit about how our
Our lives are better because of
Oh,
these microphones, and I just catch it immediately on
yeah.
fire.
It would be absolutely like us to have to go back to sharing mics, and we're
Mhm.
just sharing a really professional mic now,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Just roll
we're
back in the
still in the
van.
same closet sharing a mic.
Yeah, after 3 years.
Yeah, and the chair's burned down too, so we're back to sitting on the floor.
Yeah, mhm, mhm. Dude, you know, this is gonna sound ridiculous. I'm excited to, like,
Okay.
have you sit in your chair again.
I
Is
miss
that
my
weird?
chair.
Okay, good.
No, I don't think so. I think that it's, because you were still recording back in that room, just sans me, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's set up this
Yeah.
I'm looking at your sad, empty chair right now.
That's what I mean. I'm like, you're probably used to just this emptiness. And I don't know what to do with my eyes, because we don't really record. We've only recorded here at my place a handful of times. And it's the same room, but this room looks hella different than it did. So I don't really have a focal point to be like, oh, remember when Macy used to sit there? So my eyes just kind of jump around the room.
I noticed that I get a bit distracted easier, because I
Mm,
don't have a
mhm.
focal point, you know? Like,
Yeah.
it's really, really different, and I'm excited to have like, a body, you know, like
A-
a person.
And I think I'm excited to have a body. Uh, all the ghosts in my house.
Ooh.
Um, I'm excited to have a body. And we're both very expressive people. We
Yeah.
express and we emote with our faces, and we use our hands a lot and our bodies to kind of get our our point across, which I wonder sometimes if how that translates to a non-visual format. Because sometimes you and I will denote that we're kidding by something as simple as like a nod of the head or like a
Yeah,
hand wave.
yeah.
Um,
I do
so
wonder how much
sometimes,
detail we have left out unspoken because we spoke it to ourselves like,
yeah.
telepathically or with a
Yeah,
tiny
yeah,
gesture.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's why what we need to do is we just need to hook it up and hurry up and put this bitch on YouTube.
Just raw video footage, which people seem to want to watch for some reason.
For some reason, I watch more podcasts than I listen to podcasts, which is strange. Speaking of podcasts, before we begin the spooky stuff, can
Oh,
everyone
Jesus
shut the
Christ.
fuck up?
Oh my god.
Everybody, everybody shut the fuck up and listen. Everyone fall to your knees and receive this information that I am about to bless you with.
It's so stupid.
I can't even get it out. Dude, I just had this thought. I was like, what if you and I aren't thinking of the same thing right now?
We've gotta be. We've got to be. It's the only thing absurd enough to warrant this kind of reaction. Oh.
Peter Lewis commented on a tweet of the Witch Bitch Amateur Hour. But to be fair, it was a retweet of one of his tweets.
You added a little
Dude.
bit of text in it to make it your own. Or like in the you know, the I don't know how Twitter works. It's not like the status bar, but whatever that's called on Twitter.
It's like, yeah, you have the option to retweet, which basically just throws somebody else's tweet up on your page. Or you can quote it, where you add your own little bullshit that you add. So
Yeah,
I
and
added
that's
some
what you did.
bullshit.
Mhm.
And then, because I thought what he said was funny, you know, but it was from way back, like in November. So I was clearly stalking his page a little bit. I didn't think 4 seconds after that post up, I get a notification. It's like, Peter Lewis has liked your.
And I got an
And Macy,
emoji full of or a message full of 80 million knives.
which, if you're a longtime listener of the podcast, you know when Macy and I have something very important to tell each other, we'll just send knife emojis until
It's a
the
call
other
to
one
action.
responds. So that way, when you open your phone, you see knives, you stop what you're doing.
Yeah, it's news.
Dude, my stomach flipped. Like I twisted my gut at this when this happened.
I immediately found it hysterical. Like, I read your message and I was just like, "Oh my God." And I just started cracking up about it because I could tell how deeply moved you were by
Of
the
course I was. Oh my
experience,
God.
and I was
You have
just
no idea.
cracking up.
I was starstruck like no one's ever been in their
Oh,
in life before. And then he commented and I didn't even like his
I read
comment
it in his
back or
voice.
say anything because I didn't know what to do. I panicked. I flop sweat and I just turned into a puddle and I melted out of my office and I haven't been back since because I'm scared.
Now you'll be the guy who likes it like 6 hours
Yeah.
later.
Oh no!
The mood's gone, but
Oh,
you're coming back
dude.
for it.
I absolutely. That is my signature move. Just ride the wave until it's gone, but then come back real hard when somebody's not interested anymore. Oh,
Oh my.
okay. All right.
Wow.
I guess we should talk about the Spookysode.
Yeah, this is fun. I needed a good chatty intro. Make them wait for it, you know? That's all we're doing.
Oh yeah.
We're making them wait. It's
Oh,
suspense.
it's suspense. Did you
Suspense.
ever listen to those?
I sure did.
Yeah, dude. Roma Wines presents Suspense.
Suspense.
Uh,
Yeah, I loved the
it's an
shit
old
out of those.
radio
We had
show.
them on, cassette tapes.
Yeah. Same. And, we would listen to them. We would have nights where it was, one of my parents would be like, "Oh, let's have a suspense night." We would light candles and we would like blow up air mattresses in the living room and we would turn off all the lights and we would listen to suspense. And they're just radio plays, but like horror
That's a
style
lovely
radio plays.
scene.
Kind of, oh man, it was so, and those it sticks out in my mind. And we probably only did it in reality 4 or 5 times in my life,
But you
but
remember.
it just it's so clear. We did it once when they were building their house, so I guess maybe 2 years ago, out in the
Oh.
wilderness just to kind of relive that moment. And we didn't have any on cassette because it's out. We're camping basically, and we just pulled it
Mhm.
up on Spotify and
Oh, they're on
just
there?
listened to Suspense. And it was or it might have not have been Spotify. It might have been some other kind of streaming
Mhm.
whatever. But we found it and we listened to it and it holds up, man. I mean, they're cheesy as fuck, but it holds up.
Did y'all listen to The Shadow? The Shadow
What's that
Knows
one?
or whatever it was. It was another one of those. Papa would listen to The Shadow, and it aired in the same era of time as, like, a Suspense,
Oh, this is
I
a
think.
show.
Yeah, it was an old audio show,
Okay.
and
Okay.
it was great. I remember listening to it with Papa growing up. Like, he had
Yeah.
tapes of it, and he loved it, and, like, me and Russ and him, when we would come down to my now house and just, like, spend the night, which we would
Oh,
do
yeah.
with somewhat regularity, he would put those on. It was like that or like Indiana Jones. Like, he has a real theme with his, like, tastes of shit. And those just really stick out to me.
For some it's something about it. It's just it's almost wholesome. Even though the material is horror, it's sort of that very non-graphic 50s style horror. It's not slashy blood, this, that. It's creepy and there's a lot of ambient sounds
It's the
that they would
ambiance.
use. And
I'm in it for the sound
yeah,
effects, the environment.
back when we very first started doing spooky zodes or kind of started to form the idea of what they should be, I specifically remember you and I talking about these like radio shows that you could go listen to and being like, maybe we kind of do it that way. We'll like tell stories about things and they don't necessarily have to be, I'm going to break the fourth wall a little bit here and be like, they don't necessarily have to be true. They could be campfire-esque. We could talk about cryptids and shit like that, but we just say
Mhm.
it with the conviction of like, this is a thing. But that being said, what do we got for today? For our
I
radio podcast.
our own
Radio.
radio podcast.
Our very own show. Barbara?
I am talking about either, I don't, my second or third, maybe, I don't, fourth, I don't know. I'm talking about a mental asylum, an old one.
Ooh.
Marlborough Psychiatric Hospital.
Asylum stories are always filled with like real, true horror.
Yeah,
Not to
it
say that
sucks.
ghosts and spookies, because I very much believe in ghost and spookies, but still, I don't think a ghost can kill you. I really don't.
Yeah, well, and
A
it's
person a
I
person can
gotta
kill you.
yeah, exactly, and that's what sucks about these so much, and, like, I gotta throw some there's some trigger warning action with this.
This is a Spookysode, so we do generally throw out a general,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
warning.
And, this is an old psychiatric hospital. A whole bunch of abuse took place of a whole bunch of
Yeah.
different descriptions. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to go into some of those accounts, especially like investigative reports and things like that. I have some actual like
Mhm.
newspaper articles from 1987, I believe, that I'm going to
Oh.
read. I found them online. It was super
Ooh.
cool. So, keep that in mind. It's shitty. I have a topic for you to let you know how shitty human nature can be.
In case everyone forgot, people are shit, and we're gonna remind you. So yeah, I guess just in general, you probably might have some specifics to throw out there, but if a story is ever heading in a direction that you feel uncomfortable with, feel free to skip ahead. It's chill. We'll be there. I will be here to lighten the mood afterwards to talk to you about a cryptid, a little cutie boy that's a little spooky to me, called the Nightcrawler.
This
Not
is
the
it,
X-Men, but
and you had like a little nightmare about this guy, didn't you?
I love how you put the word "little" in front of it to really bring me down a notch.
Well,
You had a
because
little
you were
nightmare,
telling
didn't
me
you?
today how ridiculous it is that you had a nightmare about this
It
entity.
it's a very short little segment that I have, and I'm just gonna kind of it's gonna be a little sweet gumdrop dessert to kind of round out your surely horrific tale. Um, and the thing is, it's kinda silly. They're kinda silly.
Great.
And everyone out there, when you know that I had a nightmare about these things, or a nightmare slash just kind of a scary experience at night, like not quite fully awake, when you know that, you're gonna be like, "Charlie, are you fucking kidding me?"
That's great.
Um but it did that thing, where something doesn't seem scary in the daytime. It can even be silly or
Yes.
stupid, but then in the darkness of the middle of the night, it suddenly for some reason becomes scary. Yeah, but we'll get
That's
there.
that's how I am with Hellier. Like, Hellier in itself is not actually super creepy, but, like, if
Sorry.
it's
I
dusk
got
or nighttime, I panic.
I got confused, and I thought you meant Hellraiser.
That was a deep gasp, and also, I was wondering, like, I didn't say anything, I was like, "You're gasping, but I don't know if you've seen Hellier."
No, no, but I recently watched Hellraiser for the first time.
Isn't it great? Isn't that stop motion claymation the best thing you've ever seen?
Oh, it is, and I do like it, and I mean, I'd seen it before as a child, but I didn't remember it, and you know what? Fucking holds up, dude. But
It's
then I
excellent.
watched the second one. The second
No, I don't know if I actually
one?
ever
Okay.
have seen past the first one.
I have seen people say that thing like, "This is one of the few instances in which the sequel is even better than the first," and go fuck yourself about that. Fuck off. But first Hellraiser is cool. We'll fuck.
I liked it. It's a classic fucking horror movie, like,
I love the villain. I forgot how,
the woman?
just, creepy well, yeah, but, how, the villain, the true, or the I guess she's the true villain, but the one what's the word? Like, the figurehead, I guess, villain is the skinless man or
Oh,
whatever. He's,
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
put his body back together,
yeah, yeah, it's weird.
but he's getting her to do all his dirty
Yeah,
work,
it's
and,
weird.
it's creepy. I like it. And what does he keep saying? He's "Come to daddy."
Yeah, it's gross. Like, it's
Yeah,
fucking weird, and that's what I appreciated. It was,
yeah,
like, one of those instances, Tori, like, you watched it, and I was just like, "This is unique as fuck." Like, this is
yeah.
original.
Yeah, and that's what I like about those kind of '80s, almost slasher-esque, just like the kings of horror movies,
Yeah.
is they seem to not necessarily have been done before, at least to a massively successful scale, but then they do them to death, and everybody's fucking tired of it.
Yeah, they didn't know when to stop. That's how it is with, I mean, all of them. I mean, really, there's 80 billion
Jason for
fucking
sure.
Halloweens. Yeah, Friday the 13th. They really went hard with Freddy Krueger. Those are comedies. Like I mean, which the first one's kind
Yeah.
of a comedy, but like they're just
Yeah.
they ram it into your throat pretty hard.
Whoa. God damn. Okay. Well, speaking of things getting rammed down throats, everyone open your throats. It's time for the Spookysode.
I'm about to give it to you.
Uh,
Listen, I'm gonna bring you down. Are you ready?
I am so ready. I'm a little too happy today. I'm a little too joyful, gleeful,
Mhm,
feeling good about
mhm.
the world. I'm ready for
Yeah,
you to wreck
yeah,
me.
yeah. All right, well, here we go. Marlborough Psychiatric Hospital, just like the cigarettes.
Mm.
And here's the thing, this is what's gonna be fun. I struggle with that word
I
anyway.
do too.
So it's I have to almost break it up like Marlboro. Otherwise, I can't. I'm like Marlboro. I can't do it. Um
Marlborough. Just call it MB.
MB Psychiatric Hospital in Marlborough Township in New Jersey. So that's where this cat was located. So it opened in 1931. So it's not as old as some of those like
Wow.
Gothic style ones. And it was actually in fact built in like a really gorgeous Tudor style, which I love. It's like my favorite ever. And so it's really, really gorgeous, or what's left of it, but we'll get to that later. So, according to like somewhat fact slash lore, the hospital was built on land that once belonged to a pig slaughterhouse or like a pig farm. And this
Oh,
was 436 acres of fenced farmland. So it was a big campus, it was a big area. By March 9th, 1931, 5 buildings had been built on the property, and it was, like, really rocking and rolling, it was ready to be opened, and they could accommodate 500 patients at the time. So, by June
nah.
30th, which was not that long after, they had more buildings done and were building, like, patient cottages, and so these patient cottages were able to hold, like, 99 patients per cottage. So they were building those, and the ambitions were that when this hospital's done, it can hold 2,000 people. That's what we wanted. We wanted this to be a hospital of 2,000 people. It's gonna be a big boy. So
Uh,
so in 1931, the hospital also received 632 transfer patients. So these were 123 males and 509 females. So at this time, it was they were only taking in like quote well-behaved patients or like well institutionalized patients because they didn't have the new age facilities to keep the difficult ones in line, like hydrotherapy, isolation,
ah,
the horrible bad. They didn't have all that yet, so they're like, well, we'll just take
yeah.
the easy ones because we don't have the necessary equipment for torturing mentally ill people at this time.
We can't give you lobotomies yet.
Yeah, so that's how it started. So by the end of the year, this first year, or not even first year of operations, the hospital had 1,094 patients. So this was 598 males, 496 females. So in the first year, they were over half capacity already.
I'll stop moaning into the microphone. I'm always really bothered in these stories about the capacity issue.
Oh yeah, we've not even hit it. Um,
Great.
So in July 9th, or on July 9th, 1932, there were more dormitories finished, the 6. So they had these 6 dormitories that could each hold 99 patients, and they were already overcrowded. So these were, so the women, so there were like women cottages, I believe is mainly what these were. And so they were G, H, I, and J were the different cottages. So cottage G was for the, as I saw written, more deteriorated. H was in those who were pretty in fair condition and had like they were functional. I was racially segregated, and J,
Wow.
yeah, and J was those who were like kind of the in betweens, like they weren't fully functional, they weren't like terribly like they weren't deteriorated, and they also like weren't racially segregated against, apparently.
So,
Um
I mean, Jesus Christ, though, but that also, the implication with that is that just being a not white person, you don't even get categories within
exactly.
that. So
Yeah, no.
are they putting, wow, okay,
Yeah,
all
no, it
right,
seems like you
cool,
have like
move
the
on.
fully functional, people, probably just like women who were, depressed
On
or
their
whatever,
periods.
being put
Yeah.
in, yeah, with complete like bedlam. Like, like that's what they did. It's really shitty. That's what hit me too when I read that there was like only one like dormitory.
Such an afterthought, it feels like. It's like, oh, what do we get? How are we going to make sure we keep everyone separated?
Yeah,
Just shove them all into one. Oh, that's awful.
it really, I know it's fucked. By 1934, so this like the second full year or second or third full year of functioning, the hospital had 1,892 patients. And by this time, there were about the same amount as men and women. So, to just make it even rosier, by December 8th, 1939, they had children's units ready for occupation. And so here's a headline, December 14th, and excuse like the language, like December 14th, 1939, there's an article to where basically it had like a picture of like the two brick buildings of it, and it said basically like the buildings for the mentally crippled children are to open in several months, like this, and it would
Wow.
be, yeah, the first hospital in New Jersey for quote mentally crippled juveniles.
I
So
mean, I get that they didn't have the right language, you know. I'm sure that was accepted at the time, but Jesus Christ.
yeah, it's just written so harshly, like
Oh,
um, so there were similar facilities in Pennsylvania and New York, but this would be the first in New Jersey. So by January 12th, 1940, the hospital was maxed. So it only been opened for like less than 9 years. And it received its like a last batch of like 100 transfers from a different hospital. So at this time, it had 1,294 men, 1,229 women, at a total of 2,423 patients. So, as like most of these hospitals go, the wheels just come off. And they come off hard, and they come off forever, like for entirely too long, to where you're like, how did this go on this long? But they started coming off in the early 40s. So in 1942, early 1942, it was reported that the hospital was short by staff. Like the number was that I saw was 132 employees, was like they were short by it out of a total of 640. So like apparently like other places around were paying better, for one, paying higher wages. So, and it's not exactly like a desirable job at the time. Like it wasn't, you didn't really have to be much of a trained professional in a lot of cases, and so it wasn't pulling from as much of a skilled pool of workers. And the shortage was apparently worse in the men's wards, having a harder issue staffing them, if you can imagine why. And in that year,
mhm.
according to the medical director, admissions leveled off, though. So at the end of 1942, they had 2,557 patients. And that was from asylumprojects.org. It was a really cool timeline. Like it was just a very broken down timeline of how this all worked and when.
So this is over 2,000 people. So we're over capacity now.
Yeah, by 557 people. In 1955, the resident population hit its peak, though, at 3,200. So 1,200 more than there were originally supposed to be there. So that was the peak.
Whoa. I don't like it when there's more than 2 people in a room.
I
I can't even
know.
imagine that.
Yeah, and these were just like, I mean, it was just terrible. So while things were already bad in the 30s, the hospital just continued until like a big time undercover investigation took place in, get ready for it, 1987.
Of course, what the fuck?
This is an Associated Press article from March 2nd, 1987. And it was titled Senator Criticizes Hiring at Psychiatric Hospital. So I'm just going to read this directly. It's kind of long, but I just think it's very interesting in this kind of gets it across best. So, a state senator says he posed as a criminal and got a job without a required background check at a state mental hospital where coworkers slept on duty or bragged about beating or molesting patients. The State Department of Human Services on Sunday ordered an investigation of the charges by Senator Richard Cody, who went undercover as an attendant at Marlborough Psychiatric Hospital for 2 nights, February 19th through the 22nd. This details his report. Like the rest of this is like how he pulled this off and what he heard. This is pretty tough to hear, so I just want to make that clear. So I'm going to continue with the article. Cody, a 40-year-old Democrat, said he took the name of a convicted sex offender and the social security number of an armed robber, both dead, and wrote on his application that he had no criminal record. State regulations require background checks on applicants for jobs at mental hospitals, but do not automatically bar the hiring of people with criminal records. While on duty, Cody said at least one worker slept through part of her shift, telling him that sleeping was prohibited on the job as she made up her bed. He said one aide told him he should not strike patients in full view of others when they get violent, but should instead take them into a closet to be punished. A new aide told him that he could not wait to begin work so he could get his hands on, quote, some young flesh, he said. Yeah. In addition, Cody said 2 veteran aides told him that working the midnight shift in a residential cottage for patients meant, quote, you can play with the pretty girls when they're sleeping, end quote.
I want to find these people. And
luckily they're dead.
Well, good.
Cody said authorities never contacted a restaurant owner who agreed to pose as his employer, or the 2 Senate aides and a friend he had listed as references. A routine computer check of law enforcement records apparently was never made, he said. I had been told they were taking prints of people, but they were not running the prints, said Cody. Cody, in 1985, reported that more than 300 employees at the state's 7 psychiatric hospitals had criminal records, 3 with murder convictions.
That's the bad one.
Yeah. So this was in 1987. Like, goddamn.
That's a year until I'm on this earth.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I have more articles for you, and I hope that you don't mind I'm reading these verbatim, but it's just the historical aspect of it was too cool for me to like paraphrase.
No, obviously. What are you gonna do? You're gonna paraphrase an article from like the time this happened? I'd be mad at you.
Exactly. So this is another art. This was the New York Times, written March 8th, 1987 by Joseph F. Sullivan, titled Marlborough is Facing Inquiry. So here we go. So this is kind of as the story is unfolding. Richard Cody, the senator, has made his submitted his case. He's already done this, and this is kind of what's unfolding after. I just wanted to preface with that. So the senator, Richard J. Cody, Democrat of the 27th District, parentheticals, part of Essex County, and chairman of the Institutions and Welfare Committee. He had wanted to expose New Jersey's failure to screen applicants for jobs at state institutions. But the overwhelming impression left from his 2 nights as an attendant at Marlborough State Hospital, Mr. Cody said was, quote, the totally depressing and dehumanizing environment that exists at state hospitals, end quote.
That just, to me, that's like, people know. Like, this isn't a time where it's like, excuse me for saying this, but it isn't a time where it's okay to take someone in a closet and beat them because they were mentally ill. You know what I mean? It's never been okay.
Yeah.
But there are times throughout history where it was accepted. That's what you
looked
did.
Away
this
from.
is a time where we knew better. And it was still happening.
Yeah. So here he is quoted again. It suddenly dawned on me during my first night at work. I felt as if I was in a prison, end quote, he said at a news conference last Wednesday. And his quote continues, in fact, these patients were probably treated with less care than the average prisoner. They are not dressed as well, nor do they participate in as many in as many activities as the average prisoner. The great irony, of course, is that most of these people have done nothing wrong, end quote. He obtained the name and
I'm gonna
date.
cry.
I know. He obtained the name and date of birth of a convicted rapist and social security number of an armed robber, both deceased, from the state's prison system, went to Times Square where he paid $10 for a fake identification card, and then applied for a job at Marlboro. Mr. Cody was fingerprinted, but was told that the prints were never checked. Neither were the references he gave, and he said he could have easily been stopped by a routine check by any law enforcement agency of the name and social security number he submitted. He was hired almost immediately, the senator said, waiting only for the results of a physical examination. He went to work on the night of February 19th. So that's the end of that article.
What do you think that physical examination entailed, and why was it so much more important than finding out if he was a rapist?
It was probably just like handing him a beer and being like, "Hey, let's go tour the women's wards. You're hired."
Yeah. I'll show you physical. Jeez.
Yeah. So I have another one. This is a bit shorter. I didn't pull the whole article, but this is when it was closing in. So this was written by the exact same author. So Joseph F. Sullivan was really following this, and so that previous order was March 8th, and this one is March 11th, 1987, written for the Times.
Oh.
So another report told of a 50-year-old woman a woman from Long Branch, a victim of cerebral palsy, who was hospitalized last year from suffering depression. She could not feed herself, the report stated. But when she asked to be fed, she was refused because her request was viewed by the staff as, quote, manipulative, according to the report.
I'm going to hurl.
Physical therapy was ordered but never given, the report added. The woman lost weight and became dehydrated in 2 months and died of pneumonia. So yeah, she had fucking cerebral palsy.
And depression. And
yeah.
she
just died. They just let her die. So later on in the article, it talked about another woman who in her 50s went missing and was missing for days. And eventually, I guess they were like, oh, well, I guess let's just like launch a manhunt. And they found her just frozen to death, like just unsupervised and just frozen to death. So there was no like accountability really going on. You know, it was just chaos. So as much as I would love to say that investigation closed the hospital down, it didn't. Oh, no. Another investigation took place. And what's sad about this one, so this took place 7 years later after Senator Cody's investigation. And it seems like only this one got anywhere because this one was about the money. This wasn't about...
Wait. 7 years. So this is 90. This is well into the 90s now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. We're in the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
okay. And it only got traction because it was money. Great.
Yeah, that's what I got from this. This one is all about like the misuse of funds. And it's like really only after this did shit get real. I was like, oh, okay, great. So it's weird. So it's a weird scam for one, like one of the things that was happening. So this new investigation uncovered just a shit pile of corruption at this place, like mismanagement of funds, all of that stuff. So first, it was noticed that the hospital was ordering like a ton of really intense chemicals they were being ordered out of like the sewage treatment plant, like at the hospital. So, but like weird shit, like intense degreasers for that they don't actually use for it. And even like random shit like snowmobile blade wax. It's weird shit. And like the hospital didn't need them. So eventually it was uncovered that all of these chemical companies, there were all of these chemical companies in the area, and they would approach like the sewage plant people and all of these hospital management employees and were like, hey, we'll slip you like some sweet ass cash if you just buy a bunch of our shit with hospital money and like, you know, like embezzle funds because then you can sell it. And so basically these chemical companies were bribing hospital employees to pad out purchase orders for shit that wasn't needed. And then like, you know, sometimes like some workers would be like, and then one day you walk in and it's all gone. All of those tubs of Kim, they're mysteriously moved, so it's just like a big scheme going on. So this was apparently happening in multiple state hospitals in the area. And we're talking like hundreds of thousands of dollars per hospital. Like this was serious money being misused. So along with this, the hospital was suffering like a stupid degree of theft, like a ridiculous amount of theft was taking place, and every kind of theft that you could imagine. So a detailed like dive into hospital records and police reports found that between the years of 1989 and 1994, property valuing at over $200,000 was reported being stolen from hospital grounds. So I have some examples, and this is fun. I found this. This was on a report. They give some examples of something, and they had like the amounts by them, how much it was worth. So, a computer and a computer tool kit worth $3,275 was stolen. You know how fucking expensive computers were then?
I'm sorry.
So that was stolen. A Xerox copying machine valued at $2,238.
Okay.
A VCR camcorder valued at $800.
Dude, 800 bones?
Yeah, those were brand new then.
Fuck.
Plants and drapes valued at $650.
It's not funny. It's just absurd.
A typewriter, $400.
Oh.
An ear
Wow.
thermometer, $596.
No, sir.
My personal favorite, a gas grill, $200.
I mean, that checks out. That's still the price you're going to pay for a good gas grill, I think.
A dictation machine. I don't know what that is, but it was $250.
Is that like what the court reporters type on and they have to learn a special way to type?
Yeah, maybe so. An exercise mat, $300.
No, you got ripped off if you paid $300 for an exercise mat.
A vacuum cleaner, $250.
It's a shark.
And artwork, $209. So that's just some of what was stolen.
Okay.
So,
who's out here stealing plants?
I do. Everyone apparently.
And drapes. I love how plants and drapes is shoved in the same
category. They're the same.
Oh, okay.
So
sorry.
More shit starts happening. So Marlboro administrators created this, like, in theory, it was a great idea. So it was the budgeted program supplies and activities fund. This was like supposed to be for, quote, to provide programming for the patients that will help structure their experience at the hospital. They begin to act with each other and the staff in a more appropriate fashion so that they don't regress, to develop skills necessary to help them be successful when they do leave the hospital or even just maintain their health within the hospital. Sounds great, doesn't it? Doesn't that just sound exactly like what should be happening in this place?
Those words are fine, but something tells me it's not going to track.
Well, and that's what's so shitty is it's like, because like sometimes you like, even though it never excuses it, you can be like, oh, well, back then, they didn't know better. It's like, no, clearly at this time they knew better. Like the science was there saying that like these people need to be like helped and rehabilitated and worked on, but they just didn't do it. Instead, let me tell you what they did instead. Instead, $1.4 million was pretty much embezzled between 1989 and 1994. So it was pretty much, as it was written, as it was transformed into a slush fund for the personal entertainment and enjoyment of hospital employees. So pretty much while like the staff was living shittily and like eating like terrible hospital food, one of which like it even gave them a serious outbreak of food poisoning in the 70s. The staff was like ordering pizza and like doing whatever the fuck they wanted with this activities fund that the patients like never saw a single dime of. And it was a lot of money. The fund was massive. It wasn't until 1998, I was 4 years old, It was 11 years after Richard Cody's investigation that the doors were finally closed at this hellhole for good. Much of this hospital has since been demolished, but there are some parts that still remain standing. And they do still, you can kind of see the architectural style of the building. But perhaps the most impactful thing about this place is the cemetery. So it houses 942 small graves, and they don't even have names. They just have numbers, like 926. And furthermore, many of the markers aren't even stone, but instead are like thin, rusted sheets of metal, just like with a number stamped into it, like 457. And the cemetery is maintained, and actually it's open to the public. It has like a large plaque that's since been put up that clarifies the names that go with the numbers, which is nice. So you have a reference for if you see a grave that's like 518, you can then go to this plaque and know who that is. And that it just gave some identity, at least to the people who were buried there.
Jesus, can you imagine just wandering around waiting for your name to be assigned to your grave? And you're just like, well, I can't, I'm a ghost until this happens.
Yeah, it's just unfinished business, it's just so fucking disrespectful.
Yeah. Jesus.
So while the cemetery is open to the public and like maintained by the city, or, it seems the grounds themselves are super patrolled by security and off limits. Like the town police have even issued multiple statements being like, no, we're going to fucking come for you if you get on this property. Like they really, really police trespassing out there a lot. I read on several different ghost hunting sites that even the ones that made it in did so by like narrowly dodging security. So like, don't go there unless you want a potential ding on your record. Like they're not fucking around with these grounds. I have a treat for you though to close with to kind of bring it up a bit. So this is an urban legend from this hospital, and if it ever was a campfire tale, man, this is it. So legend has it. The man who owned the property the hospital was later built on was named Mr. Allen. He was a pig farmer, or sometimes I saw a cow farmer. And
Great.
he fought tooth and nail for his property. However, eventually it was seized by the state. And like this was like multiple generations of land. Like they'd been on there for a long time. And he was even barred into getting into his own house because this territory was pretty much just like, oh, by the way, we're going to put a hospital here. Get the fuck out. So
Cox.
He proved to be a persistent problem for them. So he would continue to break into his house as well as just trespass onto the property and just raise hell about what was being done. I don't blame him about that. So eventually he was driven to insanity. He just lost his mind over the injustice and the loss of his land. And as a stroke of irony, was admitted into nowhere else but Marlborough Psychiatric Hospital, the place built on his farm. He supposedly calmed down a good bit. And, I don't know if that was because of like medication or whatever the fuck they did to him, electroshock therapy, maybe just a casual lobotomy. But he spent his days working the very land that was once his. So since he had become such a good patient / prisoner, he eventually was kept under minimal watch. You got to remember, like these hospitals were understaffed. They didn't really care most of the time. And they were drunk. So like if you were a good patient, you're likely just kind of on your own. And like even to the point where neighbors of the facility often reported like interactions with loose patients. And many wound up purchasing firearms out of concern of the untreated mentally ill people loose in the woods all around the grounds and the neighborhoods. So Mr. Allen is able to just slip away and he vanishes without a trace. A manhunt is launched, but he never turns up again. And this is where the weird shit starts. So starting a few weeks after he goes missing, patients start reporting sounds of screaming pigs, and no one is able to locate the source. This escalated to one morning revealing the property just littered with pig carcasses, and written in blood on a wall says, "I see you. Tonight you will all die."
Dope.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking metal, isn't it?
But kind of a continuity error. What if it is a cow farmer? Do you hear screaming cows?
Yeah, I know. There's big issues with this story. Um a security guard was put on patrol of that area because of the message, but the following morning he wasn't there. But a trail of blood was.
Ooh.
The blood trail was followed to the hospital slaughterhouse. Remember, these were like self-sufficient farms, so they had like all their shit that they needed. And they found the officer dead, hanging on a meat hook with the head of a pig placed over where his head had been.
Whoa.
The crime was never solved. Now,
Oh,
there's
this is a
not
movie, bitch.
there's not really any evidence of this actually being real. However, it did spark the legend of Mr. Allen, who is like this deranged entity that you can run into in the woods, and he's accompanied by like the screams of pigs. And along with that, of course, this is a place that horrible shit happened. Footsteps, loud bangs, shadow people, disembodied voices, heavy emotions, all of the slew of paranormal experiences that you would think would be happen, but none of them quite have that campfire charm that Mr. Allen has. And that story is just tailor made for it, and I appreciate it deeply.
Can we get some love for Mr. Allen? Because let's recognize the fact that he did nothing wrong. He had shit taken from him. Well, I mean, if he killed somebody, that's pretty bad. But he dies, and we go on to be like, have you heard of this deranged ghost, Mr. Allen? He's the fucked up one.
Yeah, it's like, no,
I mean, I guess,
nobody pushed him over the edge by doing anything
yeah,
wrong,
he just wanted his fucking land and his home.
I mean, I gotta tell you, if somebody took my land, I don't really know what I would do. I would really and truly lose myself in a
Yeah.
rage/revenge mission.
I think that I would definitely try to scare people by emulating screaming pig noises and buying like maybe butcher blood to like write something on the wall and try to scare people. I wouldn't kill anyone. I wouldn't kill any pigs, but like I might use what I had at my disposal to scare the shit out of the people who took my shit.
You know what would be
Which I think
fun?
is
Like
feasible.
a not scary at all, but like stupid prank. So if you do get like fake blood, I just think it would be really fun because like this one had like a scary message. It was like, you're gonna die tonight. If you just like write in blood the writings on the wall and just leave it, and people can decipher it all that they want to when it's just literally the writing
You're
is
like,
on the
oh
wall.
shit, the writing is on the wall. What do we do? Or just something completely nonsensical, or just something,
I had eggs for breakfast.
and everyone will be it's that movie. It's that moment in a horror movie where somebody is staring at what's written on the wall, and then like 2 or 3 other people run to join them, and they all have this horrified look on their face, and the camera slowly pans around, and it's I had eggs for breakfast.
I take 2 sugars in my tea.
Yeah. I prefer my shower water tepid. Stupid. Oh man. Oh, I'm glad that ended on an uptick. I mean, frankly, as much as an uptick as it could. What happens when the doors of these places close? Where do the people go? Do they go to more reputable places, or are they just like bye?
They get moved, it seems.
Okay.
Which, by this point, it's the 90s, and I like to think that patients can start getting released for not having bullshit, that the stigma, I mean, against it, to where it's like that needs to be hospitalized. I like to think that with like the treatment of that started dwindling the population.
Well, I mean, and of course there was, and this, we're talking about the 90s as if that wasn't, 30 years ago now. Of course it was still stigmatized and still, it's still stigmatized today, obviously, right? However, I would like to think that in the 90s, if I grew up seeing commercials for like Zoloft and like antidepressives, that it was kind of a thing. It wasn't a thing that you would just jump to hospitalization for.
Yeah, you're not going to give electroshock therapy, hopefully, for depression.
Yeah. And even then there were things they didn't understand that I don't necessarily know if it would be hospitalization material. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It bothers me so much that by all rights, you and I,
Oh, for sure.
as we are now,
For sure.
would be put away for something
Mhm.
or another.
Mhm. Oh, yeah. Big time.
And there were women, I mean, and men too, but you and I, but there were people put away who are just like us,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
they were beaten and
Yeah, and drugged out of their
abused.
minds, and just put into a
Yeah.
fog for decades.
And can you imagine having a lobotomy?
I
Because I don't
that's
know.
I can't handle stuff on lobotomies, like, and I
Yeah.
can handle some serious shit, but something
Mm,
about that just because I know how easily that could have happened to me,
yeah.
and it really fucks me up, like, it really, really, really troubles me thinking about lobotomies a lot, a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're turned into the state that you do not need to be in. And who knows how much awareness you have. Who knows how much awareness you retain.
Not much, and, like,
Because
a lot of the times they were just turned into husks, like
yeah,
walking zombies, and you just
but
lead them around.
there's this part of me that's like, what if it's just sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? What if you are in there somewhere,
Yeah, you're just
but you
trapped.
don't you're just trapped and you just live out this catatonic.
Just the lack of an understanding on it. So there, I think it's like one of the
The
first
Kennedys?
episodes. No, it's later on, I guess. Maybe it was first. No, yeah, that's fucked. No, this is like one of the first episodes, I think, of the Lore TV show. Maybe like the first or second season. I don't remember. And it
I haven't
talked
seen the
about.
TV show yet.
It's interesting. Yeah, and in the first couple seasons, 1 or 2, it's, like, still Aaron, Mahnke narrating it, but in, like, the later ones, it's, like, more of, like, a
Oh.
cinematography kinda or, like, cinematic kind of filming. But, in the early one, it's, like, basically it's showing what happened, like, with this early use of lobotomies, and it wasn't really understood. And so, like, it was just this housewife and her husband and child and walking into this medical office. And this was like a true story. She was like one of the first ones done. And, has been suffering from depression and things like that. And they're pitched like this great new treatment, and whatnot. And her husband and
That's
daughter like go have lunch, and she's tied down to this table, and he rams an ice pick into both of her eyes. And like, her life's over, and it was like that was how misunderstood it was, to where it was like, no, people weren't being told what lobotomies do, and someone can just go in there and think they're getting something that's going to help, or a husband can just be like,
mm,
my wife's difficult, give her a fucking lobotomy. Like, I
mm,
just can't handle that.
mm.
I can't handle that well at all.
There's also an element of free will that
Mhm.
just by having a husband or father, I guess, at that time, just especially for women, and I guess underage people, it also maybe you could take like a teenage,
Mhm.
like a boy in. I don't know how much it happened, but it seems disproportionate how many women were given this
Yeah.
treatment, um, for minor infractions. I know
Yeah, yeah,
men
yeah,
were
yeah,
for like
yeah.
violent cases, but you know what I
Mhm.
mean. The fact that in that case that you're describing, like someone could be hopeful, like you're like almost how we walk
Yeah.
into like a counseling session now, and you think, "Oh my god, there's finally I'm gonna go there and there's this new procedure and I'm gonna walk out feeling great," not knowing that you are literally walking to your death, not your
Yeah.
body's death, but you are going to your
Yeah.
death.
Yeah, like your ego death.
Fuck. Oh man, that puts pits in my stomach. I'm so glad we don't do those anymore. I
Yeah.
mean, here at least, I'm sure. Okay. Can I talk about night crawlers now? As a means to get away from the heaviness. So I have a cryptid for you today. I have to be honest, I was inspired to talk about this cryptid while I was a while back doing some birthday present shopping for Macy.
I'm so glad that's
And
how that connection was made.
let me just say I was just searching around for certain things, things she might like, and I came across this page that had a bunch of cryptids. It was like let's just say it was a shirt or a mug or like a sticker that you
Okay.
could get, but it was like 14 different kinds of cryptids, and then you pick from this big list. And I was looking at them and I was aware of most of them. There's there's Mothman and there's Bigfoot and there's like all the big boys are there. And then I saw this one that looked a little funny to me. Clicked on it and it told me this is the Nightcrawler. So I decided this is what I would be talking about on the next Spookysode. So, Nightcrawler, aka the Fresno Nightcrawler.
Oh my.
It earns that it earns that name because the first recorded sighting of the creature happened in Fresno, California, which
Great.
seems like a lame way to get your name, but sure. In Fresno, California, where a man who is only known by the name of Jose and apparently has since passed away, he first caught what is now known as the Nightcrawler on his security cameras. So this scared him so badly that he actually contacted law enforcement to come out, see what was going on. Now, as the story with a lot of these recorded evidence, there's a lot standing in the way. That would put doubt in the mind of one watching it. So the first thing is, if you look up this video from this guy's 1990s,
oh no,
like yard security footage camera that was then recorded onto a VHS tape.
Oh no.
Played back through like a 1990s like tube TV.
God, we are so many layers deep.
And here's the thing, it was being recorded on another
oh my God.
like a shoulder cam pointing at the screen. So when someone sends you a picture of a picture, that's basically what we're talking about.
Oh my God. But like multiple. It's like a picture of a picture of a picture of a picture of a picture in all shitty quality.
Just baked through so many layers of 1990s technology.
Oh my God.
So there's that. So the story goes, he was hearing his dogs bark at night for a couple of nights, and he was, I'm going to figure this out. So he, I guess, buys a security camera or sets his up, and he records, and he catches this footage of this creature. And I'll get into what it looks like here in a minute.
Yeah, I've really resisted Googling it. I've wanted to, but I'm waiting.
Since that initial sighting in the 1990s, that was the first recorded evidence that we have sightings from Fresno, Yosemite National Park, Ohio, and this was apparently before the 90s. I think for the best I could find somewhere in the 80s, and it went under the name of the Carmel Area Creature, which is now widely accepted to be the Nightcrawler. And can we talk about what a better name the Carmel Area Creature is?
Yeah, way better.
Okay. And even Poland.
That's a jump.
It's just a little bit of an outlier there. Yeah. So these sightings, they've taught us a few things about the Nightcrawler's appearance. First and foremost, they are creatures that walk on two legs and seemingly only two legs. They appear to be just legs with a body and or head. I
didn't realize that was the Nightcrawler.
Yes.
I love these things.
They're almost cute, dude. Mm-hmm. They have these two long to human-sized legs with a body/head that is so small that the whole creature just looks like like a lowercase n with like maybe a tiny little nub on the top. They top off in all the stories, they top off at about 5 feet. There is one outlier story where it was like 7 feet tall, but they seem to top off at about 5. Slender and very light in color, possibly white or even gray. So they're not camouflaged in any way with the darkness. They seem to travel in pairs, almost never, or I guess never really showing up alone. They always have a larger Nightcrawler and a smaller one. And I didn't see this written everywhere, but I've noticed in the things that I've seen in the stories that I read that the smaller one always seems to be kind of trailing behind the larger one. So I like to think that he's out patrolling and he's like got somebody new on the job, like with him, like kind of shadowing him.
Okay.
Or it's a child, maybe. I don't know. But they have no arms, no trunk of the body, but they're technically still humanoid because of their bipedal nature. And that brings me to the way that these things walk. Now, some say that they appear to have backward bending knees. And I might agree with that. Not, however, in the scary way. Usually when there's backwards knees, it's like, oh
Yeah,
shit.
I'm watching
This
the
is just
video right now. This is silly.
it's silly. It's silly. Do you see why it was silly that I had a goddamn night terror about this?
It
Um,
is weird. It looks like really flappy bell-bottom pants, but,
I'm gonna
like,
tell you, dude.
walking
Hold on. I'm gonna
backwards.
get to the pants. I'm gonna get to the fucking pants. So they have a very ginger, kind of a strange way of walking.
Mhm.
Some have compared the way that they walk to the almost timid steps of that of a cellular spider, or as we know them down here, daddy long legs,
Oh, yeah.
where they seem to just kind of very gently kind of walk on the ground. Some say they also seem, if you look, as Macy just stated, they seem to have a very loose skin around the ankles or the lower legs. Some
They're
say that it's
flappy.
not skin at all. It's quite flappy, flapping in the wind. Some say that it's not skin at all, but the creatures may be wearing pants. And of course, there are there are some out there who say that the creatures are just, in fact, pants. The level of that varies. I shit you not. There's a lot of people saying like, "Oh, it's just a pair of pants being puppeteered," which the way they walk kind of looks like a puppeteered motion
Yeah,
to
it's
me.
weird. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
However, I'll I'll get more into why that doesn't necessarily track in some of these videos. But I also saw things where people said that they might actually be a possessed pair of pants
That's what I want. That's what I
roaming the
choose. I
night.
choose to believe that over all other things.
So, but like a pair of like those harem pants, because they have like a really snatched like waist and ankles,
Mhm.
because that's kind of what they look
You
like.
wanna say
They're
cinched
real
instead of saying
flappy.
it has a snatched waist?
That's a thing. Okay, fine. It's cinched. Anyway, so okay, night crawlers kind of skyrocketed to popularity when they were featured on the Sci-Fi Channel. Macy, do you remember the Sci-Fi Channel?
I miss the Sci-Fi Channel, or how it used to be. I don't know.
How it used to be. Oh, is it still kicking?
Is it? I don't know, actually. I was just about to ask that. Is the Sci-Fi Channel? I haven't had cable in since I lived at home,
Years.
and I moved out at 19,
Yeah.
so
I assumed that the History Channel kind of absorbed the Sci-Fi, because I feel like the History Channel shows a lot of stuff that used to be on Sci-Fi. I don't
mhm.
know. Anyway, they were featured on the Sci-Fi Channel's Fact or Faked Paranormal
I
Files. Remember
loved
that?
that show. Hell yeah, I loved that
Remember
show.
that? Remember that? So on this show, they would try their best. They would look at the videos
I
and all
remember
the
this
footage.
episode.
And do you
Yeah, now that
really?
you're talking about it, I
I'm gonna have
remember
to
this
watch it.
episode.
I'm gonna have to watch it. They tried all different kinds of camera, they try all the tricks, and they're trying to debunk.
Yeah.
Now to the level of which they will go for the sake of it continuing to be an entertaining show, who knows? However, they were able to kind of throw some layers on top of this footage and show that it wasn't a string. There was no string, there was no puppeteering
Mhm.
action. So it was still kind of left up to you. Is it people crouching inside of a pair of pants walking funny? How, if there's trickery, how is the trickery being done? All of this led to that show actually declaring this footage, this entity, this cryptid, as unexplainable.
Mhm.
So it wasn't written off. It
Mhm.
wasn't debunked. It wasn't, hoaxed out. um and there's the theory that I like. I know, Macy, that you want to go with the possessed pants story, but there is a theory that these are extraterrestrial in nature, being called the insectoid version of an extraterrestrial being. You've got like your grays and your humanoids and
Mhm.
like all that,
Mhm.
but you have the insectoids, because these things, they do have a little bit of a resemblance to like a praying mantis. And I
Yeah.
can't quite explain that. It's something about the way they move, maybe, and just the thin little legs. Lastly, it is important to note that they have never they've never been reported, they've never been witnessed, they've never done any harm. No one's necessarily
Yeah.
been hurt. you may get freaked out because you're like, what the fuck is this? People might run from it, but they don't chase you down like other cryptids that, if you come across, they're like, oh, fuck, you saw me. And they're going to chase you down.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't chase you down. It doesn't do any damage. It doesn't even do damage to like property.
Yeah.
It doesn't
It's a
dig
bummer.
up things or it just kind of wanders around. And that might seem like a comforting fact. But to me, it begs the question, what do they want?
Maybe they just want to go on an evening stroll with their date,
Yeah. 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 Oh, maybe that's what did you say with their date?
Yeah, with their date.
Maybe they're observing, like they're the observers. They're here to gather the information. And maybe when like an alien saw us and they saw our 2 legs and that's how we walk, they were like, yeah, just do that. Don't fuck with the upper part. Just give them legs and
It's close
stick it
enough.
down there.
They
Nobody
won't
will
even
notice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, there's I think 3 main videos that you can look up and watch on these things that you'll get directed to. However, there are some small. You really got to dig for it, but there are some smaller instances of like I remember like a newscast where one of these things seemingly kind of bumbles by in the corner of the show. And once you look this up, you will understand why it is so silly, because they seem in the daytime like these cute little things. Like if I saw one of these things just walking through my yard, I'd be like, oh, what a blessing. What an absolute blessing here on this day. But when I woke up, I must have been having a nightmare or already, when I woke up and it was just silent and the house was dark, I sat there and I was like, I know one of those things is going to waddle up next to the bed. And I just knew that to be true in that moment. And it scared the fuck out of me.
I get it. It's
but
okay. I'll do shit like that.
I am so bad about that. Because I love more than anything on this planet a good cheesy horror flick. Bad, not even scary.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then
No.
I'll wake up in the middle of the night and you'll be like, oh, but what if?
Yeah, no, I'm well, and here's the thing. I so rarely am awake in the middle of the night, or really just at night in general, that when I am, it's kind of a shock to the system and I automatically imagine the worst things ever.
Yeah. Your body goes into like fight or flight mode because it's not like sure what's going on.
Yeah, I don't love it. And so the first thing my mind does is conjure up, hey, do you know what you can't see as much in the daytime because you don't have a black background? Your fears.
I did that hard when we talked about shadow people, because they're already kind of freaky to me.
Me too.
But waking up in the middle of the night and knowing that that's a thing that they like to do, they like to come to you when you are in bed sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
I would just stare into the darkest parts of my room and just be like, any second now, I'm gonna see it. But you can't close your eyes because then you can feel it standing over you, So anyway, that's night crawlers.
I like them. I think that they're fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just here to stroll, man. They got their walking shoes and walking pants on, and they're just going for a fucking strut.
Macy, you know what they are? They're windbreakers. They're just flapping around, and they just put on their nicest pair of windbreakers to come have a stroll.
They're from an alternate reality to where like windbreaker pants are the dominant civilization on Earth, and they vacation here whenever they want.
Yeah. Sentient windbreaker pants.
But the ones that you remember the ones that would unzip all the way up to your knees so you could get like the real wide flappy legs? They've unzipped the bottom hem really high up, so they flap real hard when they walk.
It's so dumb. Oh man, shall we move from this silliness and get into some listener stories?
Listener stories. We have a bunch today.
Yeah, dude. Got a whole bucket of them.
A bushel.
A murder.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Damn it.
Let's read some stories from our listeners. By the way, as we always like to say, if you want your story read, send it to wbahpodcast@gmail.com. Make sure to put spooky somewhere in the title. And let's get going.
Let's get spooky.
Oh, yeah. I liked that.
Can that just be your noise anytime we... Okay. That's the noise of your conscious, you're projecting. You don't know it, but that's always the noise you make when you project from your body.
When I reach full enlightenment.
Oh, it's awful. Please never reach enlightenment. I will not be your friend.
But you'll still be my relative.
I can't cut that. Are you as happy as you could be?
Probably not. But do you know what can help me get to that place?
What could help?
That I want to be? BetterHelp.
BetterHelp is a worldwide, affordable, convenient connection to a professional counselor from the privacy of your own home.
So with BetterHelp, you can connect with your therapist in a safe, especially right now, in a social distanced, private online environment. It's very convenient, and you can actually get going with your counselor in just under 24 hours.
You can send a message to your counselor at any time, so when things are hot and fresh off the top of your head, you can get it to a professional.
There you go. And along with that, along with a quick message, quick chat, anything like that, you can also schedule weekly video or phone sessions. And you can do it all without ever having to sit in a waiting room.
A horrible, horrible waiting room. You'll get responses from your therapist that are timely and thoughtful. You'll be able to speak about a variety of topics, including
depression,
stress,
anxiety,
relationships,
sleeping,
trauma,
anger,
family conflicts,
LGBT matters,
grief,
self-esteem,
and more.
And more.
Everything you share is completely private, and you can change your therapist at any time for any reason.
And if you know what, if you don't want to take it from us, okay, you can check out testimonials put up every day. That's every day, Charlie, on the BetterHelp website. You can check those out every day.
You're getting a lot of testimonials if you're putting fresh, hot ones up every single day.
There you go. They're coming in hot and fresh.
And that makes sense. This is a worldwide service with over 3,000 licensed therapists, and that's in the U.S. alone. There's more than that.
And if you want to start living that happier life today, as a listener, as a wabeen quaranbean, or a quaranbened wabeen, you get 10% off of your first month by visiting BetterHelp. That is help as in HELP.com/witch.
Visit betterhelp.com/witch to fill out your questionnaire and get started talking to a counselor today.
Before we get into spooky stories, I do have to tell you something that I've not stopped chuckling about. And I just need to share it with you. And he's already denying it, but Hunter said the funniest fucking thing.
I love it. Yes, hit me.
We were talking today about just like our constitutions. Like Hunter's a very large man. Like he's a big, large, like heavy man. And he was like talking about being like glad about that, because he's like, well, I'm glad that I'm, built like sturdy. And he was like, and he was like all puffed up about it. He was like, like, and he says he didn't say this, but I know that he did. He was like, like not trying to brag or anything, but like, I feel like I could survive a fall from, like a 4-story building. and he ended it with like, and like, get up and walk off okay. And I was just like, okay. And like, it was so like, I could throw a football over them mountains. And it just, he never talks like that. And it just came out and oh my God, I'm not to brag, but like, I could fall off a 4-story building. Like,
Old Salt and Sage just fucking dusting himself off. Oh, man.
Oh,
He's like an anime character.
it
Oh.
was so funny. He was just well, and what made it better was that he was working on the aquaponics system today, so he, like, had an evening beer, but, like, just one, right? But he was like, "Oh, I'll just go, like, get myself, like, a tall boy," like and so he's just leaning up against the counter with, like, this 25-ounce Michelob. Just, "I could fall off a 4-story building." It's just really funny.
That was beautiful. Thank you for that, Joy.
You're welcome.
At some point in the future, we're going to need to have, like, an animated series of things that have been said, and that definitely makes its way
Oh, yeah.
into it.
That has to be.
And also I mean, also just the components of that. Why is it a four-story
Yeah.
building, you know?
Is that the standard?
Why is that what led him to be falling from this? Like,
Mhm.
what's the backstory? I need to know more. There's lore to this comment that
Yeah,
he
yeah.
made,
I
and
mean,
I want it.
there was a lifetime up to that point, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Other and I love the fact that somewhere in an alternate reality, in another universe, that happened.
One of his infinite timelines really does
Yeah,
fall 4 stories and gets up and just dusts off his
yeah,
jeans and just
yeah.
strolls away.
And I'm imagining a very cartoony dust, kinda like, who's the really dirty kid? Pigpen
Mm,
from the fucking Peanuts?
mhm.
I'm just imagining a very dusty, cartoony style Wile E. Coyote action.
Yeah. And almost just, like, whistling, walking off, just this is no big deal.
Yeah.
Oh, it was good.
Oh, boy.
I think it's because it's still Aquarius season. I think it was a real Aquarius season moment, and because
Oh.
he is very Aquarian in nature, not, like, in the standard ways, but, like, in that moment, it made sense.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, well. Wow, what a joy. What a sunspot that was.
Yeah.
Um, I hope to I hate to spooky up the mood here, but we have some listener stories.
Yeah, we do.
Our first spooky story of the evening comes to us from Libby P. My spooky story starts in the town I was born in, Morro Bay, California. Don't worry if you haven't heard of it. Most people haven't. But it's a small it's a small fishing town in Southern California. There was a beach that was within walking distance from my family's small apartment. When my brother and I were young, our mom used to walk us down there most days to collect sand dollars and kill time until my dad got home from work. This was the 90s, so kids still played outside. I remember. The beach was right up next to Morro Bay Rock, a dormant volcano, and curved around it. My mother was and still is a Christian and a pastor's wife, but has always been an unadmitted witch.
Hmm.
She loves the ocean, everything about it, but my brother and I were absolutely not allowed to swim in the water or get too close without her being right next to us,
Mm.
holding our hands. This was her one rule. She told us every time that we went that if we broke this rule, we would go straight home and sit in time out.
Oh.
God, remember time out?
Oh.
Oh. Unfortunately, I was an explorer. One morning when we were at the beach and my mom had her back turned, I booked it as fast
Oh
as my
my god.
5-year-old legs
When your little 5-year-old
would take
brain
me.
doesn't understand consequence that is going to happen from an action.
Yeah. Just like, and all you understand is somebody told me not to do something, so I'm going to do it as soon
Yeah.
as their back is turned. I booked it as fast as my 5-year-old legs would take me to get to the further side of the rock with the tide pools.
Ugh.
I mean, that's understandable. Tide pools are
Oh,
fucking
yeah, I
gorgeous.
heard
My mom
riptide.
was out of sight.
Sorry, my brain immediately went to
Oh,
riptide. I was like, "Oh, but no, tide pools are cool."
well, you're probably not wrong. I
I
mean, that
ran
is a
straight
legitimate
for the
concern.
riptide.
Uh, my mom my mom was out of sight and I was climbing on the rocks, very proud of myself for outsmarting a grown-up. As I was climbing, I saw a woman. She was at least 10 meters away from me. She was wearing an all-white dress and had long dark hair and was standing ankle deep in the water. She was also staring at me and crying. Is this freaking
Oh,
La Llorona?
yeah.
Jesus Christ. I called out to her and asked her why she was crying. She mumbled something and I couldn't hear, so I started to walk towards her to hear better, all the while saying things I thought would comfort her. She reached out to me. She reached out to me with both hands. A bit closer now, I could finally hear what she was saying. She was begging me to forgive her. This is.
That does sound like
That's when
her.
I heard. Ah, that's when I heard my mom scream my name. I turned to look at my mom. I had never seen so much fear in her face or seen her run that fast. Seeing her so scared filled me with fear, and I burst into tears running to meet her.
Yeah, she almost got
She
drowned
scooped
in
me
the
up.
ocean by La Llorona.
Yeah, damn, dude.
Oh.
She scooped me up and held me so tightly I almost couldn't breathe. You stay away from my children. Damn, dude. That's that like mom strength coming
Yeah,
out.
that's
It's
some
like, I'm
Molly
not
Weasley
afraid.
energy. I like that.
She shouted, but when I turned my head to look, the woman was gone. My mom carried me back to the beach where my dad, who had driven out to meet us, was playing with my brother. When we got home, I did have to sit in time out. My mother was a woman of her word, but she explained to me that the woman I saw was bad and wanted to take me away from her and daddy, and that if I ever saw her again, I should run as fast as I could back to her. Then she lit a bunch of white candles around our house and smoked up the house with sage incense. We have since moved away from California and the Pacific Ocean. I am now living with my husband in Charleston, South Carolina. But even now, I can't help but feel a little nervous going too deep into the water. And I would definitely don't allow my nieces and nephews to go anywhere near it without an adult close to them. I have more spooky stories, but this is by far the one that has made the most impact on me. Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
it seems like you're a real bummer when you're a grown up and you have all these rules like, "Oh, I can't go over here, I can't go over there," but it's because, like, something really shitty probably happened.
Yeah.
You almost
Well,
got your ass killed.
I wonder what entity that was because I think isn't La Llorona like the Rio Grande?
I remember doing research for that, topic. It said it's kind of, expanded to all bodies of water unless
Almost like
this
an
is a
archetype.
separate entity. Mhm, mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, she's yeah. Which honestly, that might be the case because I know that there's many
Yeah.
very similar
Yeah. I mean,
stories.
there's some from like Brazil, like and things like that, like the water women that want to take you and your children, you
They're
know.
yeah, yeah, and they're always crying and they're always asking for forgiveness.
Mm,
So it's, they're tied. They're tied.
hmm.
Ugh. We
Wow.
don't get we don't get many of those here on the Spooky Hour. We don't get many, not cryptids, that wouldn't be the right word, would
I
it?
know characters like that though. Yeah, like a known
Yeah,
entity.
entities, yeah.
This next story was sent in by Billy J. I grew up in eastern Kentucky in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. Appalachia, Appalachia, Appalachia.
We had someone write in and they said it's technically Appalachia, and the only way I
Appalachia,
remember
you
it is
like throw
because
an
they said,
Appalachia.
"I'll throw an apple at ya," right?
Yeah.
Is that
But for generations, my family planted their roots deep in those mountains, and I've been taught from a young age to respect them. As an adult who identifies more as a pagan, elemental witch, that respect comes with a healthy dose of reality that these are some of the oldest mountains in the world. They are lovely and softened in ways that younger mountain ranges are not. But on the bad days, they are terrifying in a way that only ancient things are. Ooh, yeah, that's true.
Ooh, ooh.
Maybe as a result of that, but maybe not, my family leaned hard into Christianity. I come from a long line of holiness Pentecostal Christian. Oh, wait, yeah. I come from a long line of holiness Pentecostal Christians. My great grandfather was a known healer in his community, but also the minister and regularly went to battle with what Christians would call demons. As a witch,
Mm,
as a witch, I'm not sure they were wrong. Even when my father fell away from his faith, In my early childhood, I distinctly remember him walking the perimeter of our 90-acre farm, anointing every fence post and praying the same repetitive prayer over and over again. Dedication, he called it, and protection, but that was implied, never stated aloud. When we lived on the farm, we'd lived on the farm for 8 or so years when the hard times came. It started with business troubles. My parents owned a very successful company, and through betrayal from a close friend, it was all lost to bankruptcy and crooked courts. Then the depression came, settling over my home like a cloud. My mother was barely functional, and as the oldest of 5 children living at home, I stepped in, keeping the traditions alive while my mother moved through her days like a zombie. Then the death came. At one point, we had a successful breeding herd of around 40 Clydesdale horses, give or take how foaling season went.
Whoa.
Suddenly, it was tragedy after tragedy. A prize mare twisted her gut, another broke her leg, one developed a blood infection from a cut that no one realized was there. Once the babies came, you could feel the wrongness setting in. The babies were too big, each one larger than the last, but none of the muscle development necessary for survival. Days were spent in the barns hoisting
Ew.
days-old folds into the rafters to exercise their legs, make sure they were eating, and pray for their recovery. Not a single one survived. We called the scientists over in Lexington to come and check the ground, help us understand what was happening. No one could tell us. Finally, one of the gentlest girls went into labor. Days we slept in the barn trying to help, but the baby was too big, and we lost both. And shortly afterward, the sickness turned inward. Farmer, one of my 4 brothers, has always been different. He's always seen things that weren't there. I remember distinctly running through the house, playing tag, when he suddenly flattened himself against the wall, shrieking. My mother picked him up, but his eyes were locked on a spot in the center of the room. This happened several times before my father pulled the older children together and told us that he has gifts that allow him to see more than most, and it is more than a child should have to face. But as he, God damn it, I can't read today, I'm sorry. But as his family, we will be his grounding and pull him back from what he saw. Well, that's lovely.
Jesus.
When I look back on those younger years of my life, it was clear that Farmer was always the one that trouble found. He was a handful in ways that most boys are, but hardship always seemed to find him. None of us were sick often, but he nearly died from complications from a virus unheard of at the point in the United States. He has had more stitches than I can count from rocks that none of us even saw before they cut him. It sometimes feels like the world is constantly seeking to inflict pain on him, and everybody chalked it up to him being a reckless boy, but I am confident that wasn't it. Shortly after we stopped our breeding operation, Farmer got sick. At around 10 years old, he had a fever that was high, but manageable. We all assumed it was the flu, and my mom kept him away from the other children in hopes that we might not get sick. We lived in a farmhouse where there was wind, where the wind would sing as it broke over the ridge, with a Newfoundland pup the size of a calf who liked to make trouble. God damn it. As a result, none of us ever slept terribly soundly. We'd wake to use the bathroom or get water, dancing down the creaky stairs to try to miss the noisiest joints. That was our normal. Then one night, I woke up from a dead sleep with the morning sun. I had slept all night in the sort of sleep where you don't remember anything, but don't realize time has passed at all. But it had passed along with something else in our home that night. I went downstairs to eerie silence. There is no silence in a home with 5 children, a dog, 2 parents, but there was this morning. I saw that the light was on in a room. I saw the light was on in the room all 4 of my brothers shared, and my father called me and the others in. We sat on the bed and he asked us how we slept, an unusual question, but we all answered the same, hard and dreamlessly. He was fully dressed, which was odd, and there was mud on his boots. Something was wrong, but I didn't know what. He pulled a vial of anointing oil from his shirt pocket and began to draw a cross on each of our foreheads, praying louder and with more command than I was used to. He claimed healing and protection for each of us, and then sat down and began to tell us each what happened that night. Farmer had woken in the night crying for my mother, screaming to not let them take him, begging for her help. She ran into his room, took him into her arms, and held him tight, whispering that she was there and he wasn't going anywhere. But the tears got worse and she couldn't keep hold of him. It was like he was being dragged across the bed. No one else was in the room, but every time she pulled his head back toward the pillow, he would begin moving again. But he wasn't moving at all, and he was clinging to her and begging for help. She called for my father, and he rushed into the room for help. When he entered the room, Farmer sat straight up in bed and projectile vomited across the room. Both of my parents saw the vomit hit the opposite wall and slide down into a puddle. Farmer laid back down on the bed and fell into a hard sleep. My father climbed into the bed with Farmer and held him while my mom got Tylenol for the fever and a mop and a bucket. But the crying and begging had ceased all at once, and so as my dad dozed Farmer, my mother had turned the lights on. There was no vomit to be found. She moved the toys and the blanket, searching for any trace of what she had seen, but there was none. Disconcerted, she asked my dad to go back to bed, and she would sleep with Farmer the rest of the night to make sure he didn't throw up again. My father went back into the room and fell asleep, only to be awakened in 20 or so minutes later by his bed lifting and moving around the room. Now, our dog Lily was a puppy, but a rather large one, who liked to get under the bed, although she was quickly outgrowing this hiding spot. He yelled for Lily to get out, and the shaking got worse. Convinced that she was stuck, he got out of bed to lift the bed frame and aid in her escape. But when he got out of bed, the shaking stopped. He got down on the floor to call for her, and she came walking in from the living room, and she hadn't been in his room at all. At this point, my father decided at 4 a.m. in the morning that he needed to go to battle. Armed with anointing oil and my great-grandfather's Bible, he walked every fence post on the property. He prayed what he likes to call a hedge of protection around us, casting whatever was attacking our family, or casting out whatever was attacking our family. At 7 a.m. that morning, when we all woke, he had just come into the house from his adventure. When he relayed this experience, he told us that something had broken our defenses and was attacking us, which is why he prayed for us too. We got ready for school that day in near total silence. Farmer woke up around noon with no fever and no memory of what happened. To this day, I still get the creeps thinking of it, but I have no doubt that it happened. By the way, my mother and father still live in the house and sleep in that room every night.
Whoa!
That's a lot.
Dude, what a freaking tale.
That's a lot.
I was so worried
I
for
was
her
worried about
brother.
Farmer. I was worried he was going to pass.
I was like gripping like the table that I'm here, and I'm like, oh fuck, when's it gonna
And
happen?
that's the sweetest
Whoa.
name I've ever heard.
Dude,
It's so endearing. Farmer.
yeah,
I love it.
Farmer. It's cute.
Oh,
I'm so glad he didn't die.
I know. I know. I was really worried.
Oh man, shit. Okay. Ooh, I've got a story for you, fresh from the hands and mind of Megan R.
Oh.
For a few years after college, I was living with my dad. This was a time in my life where I'd really begun diving deep into the metaphysical and paranormal, and I would talk to my dad about it a lot. After realizing how much I enjoyed the subject, my dad began opening up to me a little bit more about the many paranormal moments that he had had in his life. I believe he is a natural medium, though he does not explore it willingly.
I get that.
Yeah. A lot of these moments had to do with my grandma, his mother, who had passed a few years ago. He told me she visited him often in his dreams in a way that was so vivid and real. One night, I looked up at the sky and I said out loud, Grandma, please visit me like you do for my dad. I love you and I miss you so much. That same night while sleeping, I was awakened to the sensation of someone sitting down on my bed next to me. Ugh, dude, that is so nice. Then I felt someone take both of my hands in theirs. It was so vivid. The hands were small, soft, and warm, and they lightly squeezed mine a few times. For whatever reason, I never opened my eyes throughout the entire encounter, but I have no doubt in my mind that it was my grandma. I felt warmth, love, and I smiled as well. Next time, I will open my eyes.
That is so
Dude,
sweet. Oh my God. That made me tear up a little bit.
I know. Shit. One more quick story about my grandpa on my mom's side. My family and I were with my grandpa, or as we called him, Grandpa.
Oh.
Grandpa. in hospice as he was in his final hours. The nurse finally had to tell us that some of the family should leave because it can be hard for a person to finally let go and let themselves pass while everyone is watching.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine.
I
So,
get that. Yeah.
Yeah. So my sisters and I left and headed home. About 45 minutes after we left, my mom called to let us know that he had passed. When I got home, I broke down in tears and said out loud, "Grandpa, please watch over Gram and be with her through the flowers in her garden that she loves so much." A few seconds later, I got a text from my Gram with nothing but flower emojis, no words. Seeing how Gram and I had not been texting previously, I know that this was my grandpa affirming he heard me. Dude,
Sweet.
how nice.
Sweet.
What a very
That's lovely. Good
I love the
family for like,
communication.
yeah,
Yeah.
spiritual communication like that with relatives.
So
That's lovely. I like that a
I
lot.
love
That
that.
grandma story
Dude,
was
the
really
grandma one, I know, it gave me
Mhm.
chills. Sorry, I'm talking all over you.
Well, we have a little bit longer of a lag today. I feel like the normal. It's like a second and a half longer. I can just kind of hear it.
Yeah.
This next story was sent in by F.
Simply F.
I like it. Simply Rick.
I could fall out of a 4-foot build. What's he say? A 4 stories.
Not to brag, but like I could fall out of a 4-story building and be fine.
Oh. Okay.
So here we go. My mother and her sisters grew up in Montana. Sometimes people called them the Whitaker Witches. Oh my God.
Ooh,
What an
beautiful.
aesthetic.
Dude, can you imagine?
Oh, I love that. And I like with the like Whitaker Witches, and I just love the word Whitaker. I think it's a cool ass word. And in front of witches, it's even better.
The alliteration is strong. Whitaker Witches.
Love it. It always seemed so cool growing up with someone so enticed by the spiritual world, and it wasn't until I started practicing that I realized that the name came from our demeanor. We all have that knowing of things to come, unexplained things happening around us, and all have had multiple experiences with spirits. There is one, however, that is intergenerational and prolific. My mom told me stories since I was little about how I couldn't sleep with my arms above my head because I would get poked in the armpits. Ugh. When she was a girl, I don't like that at all. I hate all of that. That might be one of the worst things that's ever been written in. I don't like that.
Oh, so simple, so terrifying.
Oh, God. Oh, I hate it. Oh, I hate it. It's making my eyes water.
Do you sleep with your arms up like that?
I do not. Absolutely not. Hunter does, though, but I don't.
Oh, he's going to get his pits poked.
Just poke his armpits. Oh, that's awful. When she was a girl, she slept like that often until one night a boogeyman came from under her bed. She never saw his body. All she knew was his long, skinny fingers with long, skinny nails. He poked her in the armpits in a dreamlike state. And afterwards, she never slept in that position again.
What's so funny, but so off-putting. Dude, I think I have a good idea what this is.
Oh,
this is Jim.
It's gotta be. Holy shit.
Oh, I hate the skinny fingernails.
I do too.
Ugh.
She was freaked out, but it didn't stop from her sleeping. But she was freaked out, but it didn't stop her from sleeping easy from then on. None of my siblings and I ever experienced him because we were warned, and I was always scared of him. One day, we were out in Montana visiting my aunt, whose daughter, my youngest cousin, was probably 5 at the time. My aunt had never told her kids about him because she had forgotten it over time and was half convinced it was only a dream. So we're all sitting around the living room, and our aunt warily tells us that my little cousin told her the boogeyman had poked her armpits when she was sleeping. This was extra creepy because it not only validated that what we all felt and knew, it meant he was still up to poking, with or without us sharing his lore. Maybe it's just females. Maybe it's only during childhood. Unsure. Since then, we all take care to close our pits at night.
Oh my God. Dude, how is this so funny and so creepy at the same time?
I feel like I'm almost laughing in hysteria because it really bothers me so deeply, but at the same time, it's so outrageous and specific.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Wowza.
Oh. I kind of love that, though. He's got one thing that he does. He's not throwing shit across the room. He's not possessing people. He's just trying to get a little poke.
I just like to, he has like a radar, like the moment you like spread your arms behind your head, he just like slithers out and is like, oh yeah, poking.
It is Jim. You know what is creepier though than him just knowing is the idea that he like gets out and checks.
Oh yeah,
So even if
he just
not,
like waits.
I hate it.
Interesting.
He was excited though. After all those years, somebody finally comes in sleeping with their pits exposed.
This one doesn't know the rules. Wow.
Oh, I love the pit poker. Wow. Okay.
Y'all sound off if y'all have also experienced this or know what it is, because this is a very peculiar but also specific entity.
I've experienced something similar, but not this funny. I have on a couple occasions throughout my life, I've had my toes tapped. Like only my big toe, a very specific double tap.
I don't like that.
Like a firm double tapping. So anyway, this next story comes from Missy. So Missy says, I wanted to share with you my first experience with spirits. There's so much to be said around this. Oh, you never forget your first. There's so much to be said around this that I will try to be concise. About 6 years, yeah, because that's what we're about here on WBAH, conciseness.
Oh, yeah.
About 6 years ago, I began dog sitting for my aunt's friend. She lived and still does in the oldest house in Lincoln Park, New Jersey.
Whoa.
Crawling it. I would later find out that
to scream.
Shut up when I'm talking to you. I can't even do it not laugh. I'm sorry, but if you tell me you hear the words Lincoln Park and you don't think of the band Lincoln Park, you're a liar.
Yeah, come on now.
She lives in the oldest house in Lincoln Park, New Jersey. I would find out later that it is actually a historically registered site known as the John Dodds House. I wonder if that's supposed to be Doe's house. John Dodds House.
Built, a name, yeah.
Yeah, built in 1710, with the second half being built in 1770. Once used as part of the, and it was once used as part of the Underground Railroad. Can you say heavy energy?
Mm-hmm.
The house was unmistakably beautiful. Original stonework, flooring, impeccably preserved to the expectations of the Historical Society, and incredibly fucking haunted.
I bet.
Immediately. With all that original shit in it, yeah, dude, that's soaked up the ghosts. And especially that stonework, that's like a sham wow for spirits, dude.
Yeah.
Live in that. Immediately, the energy in the house felt heavy and the air was stagnant. This was before I was really into practicing witchcraft, and I didn't have the knowledge or tools that I do today. My first night, almost every light bulb burned out on the first floor. During the course of the week, doors slammed when I was alone, except for my 1-year-old, who I'm guessing didn't do the door slamming. Perhaps the most oppressing thing was simply the energy, for lack of a better word, that clung to me in every room. I broke down and texted the owner. Don't take this the wrong way, but is your house haunted? She laughed and said, yes! Exclamation point. But they have always been friendly spirits towards me. What was I to do? I was 21 and couldn't abandon the animals, but the feeling was anything but friendly. Several days in, a pile of notebooks flew across the hallway towards me and off of an armoire when I tried to go into the living room. I felt eyes on me everywhere. 'Cause they just don't know you, dude. Who the fuck is this chick?
Mm-hmm.
On my final day, I went down about 5 large steps to the very original part of the house, which had dirt floor under the hardwood and it had a built-in bookshelf along the far wall. The air was cold and still. It smelled of decaying books. At the foot of the stairs was a neat pile of about 5 books with the top book placed carefully standing up. I hate that.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped dead. The bookshelf was across the room about 20 feet. I was alone all week with my baby, a bulldog, 2 ferrets. No way could those books have fallen down, flown across the room, and no way would they have landed in such a deliberate way. I scooped up the baby and swore I would never go back. It's just, bye. To this day, I have not felt a feeling of something wanting to do harm to me as I did that week.
Ooh.
Come on. I did go back, in fact. I go twice a summer every year to pet sit. The first few years were hard, but as I dove deeper into my craft, I learned how to protect myself and also show the house I meant it no harm. This year, three bulbs burned out in the bedroom. That was some alliteration for your ass. 3 bulbs burnt out in the bedroom. When my daughter was 3, she asked me who the woman walking up the stairs was.
No.
The house and its inhabitants still find a way to let me know that they are there, but the energy has changed. We have an understanding now. Every time when I first come in, I let everyone know I'm here as usual to take care of the animals in the house. I wear my tourmaline, cleanse the space, etc. I love the animals, respect the house, and grow confidence as a witch each time.
Nice.
Man, you know, I love that. I love to hear when people return to a place, but they're like armed.
Yeah, and it's just part of it. I relate to that a lot just from like my first cleansing sessions to now. Just like I was even scared to cleanse because I thought I
Yeah.
was gonna fuck things up.
Yeah.
So that's nice. It's
Yeah.
just part of the development of your witchcraft journey.
Yeah. It's normal to be scared.
Yeah. This was sent in by Chris. First of all, I'm a spirit worker. Not so much with spirits of the dead as spirits from other dimensions, fae, dragons, phoenixes, the like. Okay, I get that. I warned my roommates of this.
Ooh.
Turned out, not a problem. They too brought their own friends from the other side. Thus, strange occurrences weren't that strange for us. We would try to make the spirits feel at home with an offering of milk, juice, or chocolate, and sometimes we'd interact with them via tarot or pendulum, which was always fun with their huge personalities, often tricksters. Things would go missing. We'd come home to the kettle and my electric candle turned on. We'd hear the giggles. Someone would knock something over to get attention, but nothing threatening. Until late November 2018.
Oh, foreshadowing.
The majority of the college dorm was empty for Thanksgiving break. One of my roommates and I stayed behind to get caught up on final projects. The silent hallways were a comfort from the hustle and bustle of deadlines, and especially a comfort from the freshmen who didn't yet understand how to clean up after themselves, or even how to function as adults in a community. I was making lunch in the dorm. I was making lunch in the dorm kitchen, pleasantly alone, filling the stillness with an episode from The Witch Pajama Hour.
Horn.
Yeah, baby. I put in my earbuds and took a seat at the table while I waited for my water to boil. Moments later, bam! I yelped in shock as the table before me shook from a heavy slam on its surface. Nothing fell into the table, so someone must have slammed their hands on it while I wasn't looking. I scan the kitchen and I'm alone. I quickly searched the hallway and not a soul was to be found. When I returned to my seat, I felt a very heavy presence in the seat across from me, like eyes narrowed in annoyance, swiftly escalating into anger. I pulled my earbuds out to focus, trying to identify this energy. It wasn't any spirit I worked with before, but it demanded attention. I tried to do you say placiate or how do you say that word?
I say placate.
Placate? Yeah, I said placiate. I usually say placate, but I don't know if that's the right way to say that. By making some small talk. Hey there, how you doing? You wanted to talk? I wait for some shift in energy, words or images to enter my mind, a change in emotion, nothing. I gave it some time, and then, all at once, there was a shift. As much as I tried to keep a calm facade, my guts began to twist, and my heartbeat rang in my ears. This thing was not here to exchange pleasantries.
What a dick.
I know. I ignored the lump in my throat, got up, and returned my attention to my mac and cheese, begging for the water to hurry up and boil. I could feel the heavy presence follow behind me, towering over my head as its form cornered me into the stove. I put up layered shield after layered shield to keep this thing from affecting my energy in any way as I made my meal. Thankfully, the food was cooked. I took my pot and briskly jogged into the hallway. Only as I made my way to my room, an image flashed in my head of a tall, shadowy, smoky male silhouette stalk behind me. I could feel my heart ram into my rib cage, sweat beating up on my brow. The final 4 feet to my room, my jog broke into a dash. I ripped open the door and slammed it closed. Thankfully, I had red pepper flakes on my desk near the door, and I rubbed it on the door and doorknob as I uttered, "This space is protected from all malintent. This space is protected from all negativity. Unwelcome energies do not enter this space. You are not welcome in this space." I repeated several similar mantras as I rubbed the spice on the door, my roommate catching on as she echoed oh, that's sweet, my roommate catching on as she echoed my words. I was shocked, but would save my questions for later. I guess she dealt with it. Once
Dude,
my heart...
What a fucking pal.
Yeah, no shit.
What a fucking pal.
That's some shit. That's great. Once my heart settled and I felt the entity had gone, I released a sigh of relief and apologized to my roommate for the weirdness. She looked at me straight in the eye and asked, "So it went for you too?" As it turned out, the night before, something kept knocking over my roommate's Tupperware, and in the corner of her eyes, she would see a hulking, broad-shouldered silhouette of a man. You better believe I cleansed and protected the shit out of the place afterwards. Thanks for reading. Hope I scared you a little. Wink. That one was spooky.
That you fucking did, man.
Yeah, he was nasty.
Oh, man. What a ass. What an ass butt he was.
Yeah, like, dude, she's just trying to make some mac and cheese. Like, what kind of true to your core dickhole do you have to be to where, like, someone's just trying to make some fucking mac and cheese and you're harassing them like that?
That's a universal constant, man. If somebody's making some mac and cheese, you leave them the fuck alone.
I'm going to expand that to any comfort food. If someone is making comfort food, one, there's some things going on here. One, they could need it, okay, which means that they've had a hard day. Two, it's comforting. Don't ruin the comfort before it starts, you fuck. That's the point of comfort food. Come on.
Oh God, that's a whole new layer of things. Like after they dealt with this thing, she had to like sit and eat her mac and cheese, but like
couldn't
the
enjoy
joy
it.
Was taken away.
Yeah, and that's what makes me mad. It's like it's comfort food. Come on. Like I'm over it. Like I would give a being like 0.4 seconds of that kind of behavior before I would have to be like, all right, well, you can't stay here, I guess.
Yeah. Throw shit across the room, light the bitch on fire, but when you get in the way of my chicken pot pie, I'm ripping your limbs off.
It's over. I'm going to dissolve you out of reality.
Why is that the most real thing that you've said ever. Oh, okay. The worst part though was the realization that the slam on the table must have been someone's hands. Because
Yeah.
have you ever known somebody who would do that, like slam their hands on the
Yeah.
table? They are always cunts.
It is. It's confrontational. You know,
Ugh.
it's setting the presence of being like asshole. You know. What?
Oh man. I'm so sorry. I can't get over you dissolving someone's entire existence, good or bad. Because you thought for a second that they were gonna.
Well, I mean, okay. I mean, if I can tell that they're bad news, like, you know, I get it. For
Yeah,
after the
no.
slap on the table, she was like, "All right, fine, I'll talk." But the moment that it was like, "Oh, I'm here to fuck with you," it's like, "All right, fucker, you're gonna no longer exist on any plane anymore. You lost that privilege."
I'm ending you. This is where it's
Yeah,
gonna end.
like seriously, like this. You
Oh,
woke up and chose
oh.
this.
But I'll tell you one thing. I bet you that entity could survive a fall from a 4-story building. Oh.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
man. Our next story comes to us from Lauren M. My best friend, who also practices, and I met while working at a psychiatric hospital. The hospital we worked at has been around since 1882, and it has always been a psychiatric hospital.
Do you hear the four-wheeler?
Yeah.
Dinah.
I heard something going on. I heard a ruckus.
I need to go ahead and do a disclaimer here, I guess. Hunter is working on the aquaponic system right now. And so there's just like bangs and four-wheeler noises because he's just like moving shit around and Dinah yapping. There's nothing to be done about it today.
Before we get a million emails that's like, did you know in this Spookysode you can hear banging from a ghost?
Yeah, no, it's Hunter out there just putting that all together, but it is I've heard him a few times like hammering shit or whatever he's doing out there.
It's always comforting to me to have noises like that when I'm like listening to spooky things.
Oh, for sure.
It's kind of nice to like, because you're just like, okay, the world's still out there, it's still going on.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's real, I guess.
Yeah,
nothing's
especially
real.
Recording like this because you're kind of tucked off in a room by yourself, you know, and it's quiet.
It's spooky.
It's a quiet space, and it is really, especially alone. These Spookysodes recorded apart are really uncomfortable for me.
Yeah, and especially hearing, whoa, that was a big stutter. Especially hearing the other person tell, because when you're reading, there's a part of you that can kind of cut that part of your brain off, and you're like, I'm just telling a story.
Yeah, but when you're listening, you're just envisioning it.
Yeah, and you're alone in this room, and at least when we're together, we can be in the same room, and it's like, ooh, hee hee hee, and like it's a cool story.
Yeah.
But like
Safety
it just becomes all too real. Yeah. If a ghost comes in this room, we could totally punch it. All right. All right. Oh, let's see. The hospital we worked at had been around since 1882, and it has always been a psychiatric hospital, which we all know back in the day, they weren't all too kind to people who had mental health issues. Even today, it's still stigmatized. So can you imagine back then? Jesus. Anyway, in the basement of one of the original buildings, there is a really big room full of clothes that people have donated to the hospital for the patients to use, since a lot of the patients don't come in with any of their belongings. Now, when I tell you this part of the building is creepy, I mean it. Well, yeah, it's the basement of an old hospital.
Yeah.
To get to it, you have to go through this decrepit and poorly insulated tunnel that slopes downward.
That's like
there are rooms... that's what I'm thinking, man. There are rooms that are filled with old wheelchairs and outdated medical equipment.
No.
Old bed frames and random pieces of furniture.
No. I'm going to vomit.
I know. The part of this hospital is only staff accessible and is used for storage. Myself and many staff have heard voices and unnatural echoes when walking down the tunnel into the main hallway of the basement. You need to go all the way to the end of the main hall to get to the clothing closet. That's
Of
practical.
course.
Keep it all the way
Wonderful.
at the end. You always wanted to remember Oh, you always wanted to remember to bring a walkie-talkie with you because the cell service was almost non-existent in this
Mm.
building. There is also a special key you have to lock and unlock the door. Now, mind you, this door is old, heavy, and very loud. It squeaks something fierce, and it's a pain in the ass to open and to close because many times the key would get stuck and wouldn't work, so you had to sit and finagle it. Well, one evening, my best friend was down grabbing some clothes for a new patient who had arrived that night, and she was starting to feel uneasy. The lights had flickered a few times, which really wasn't abnormal given the building's age, but it is still creepy, especially at night. So she grabbed the clothes as quickly as she could so she could get the heck out of there. But when she walked back to the front of the room, the door was closed. My friend kicked on the door since her hands were full, but it was latched. She put down her clothes and tried turning the doorknob, but nothing. The door was locked. She quickly checked her pockets to check for the key, which she had. She shoved the key into the lock, but it wouldn't budge. She sat there, very anxious because the lights flickered again and then went completely out. My friend turned around quickly to reach for the light switch and flicked the lights back on. She tried the key again and it was still unyielding. At this point, she's full on panicking.
Yeah, I would maybe be nearing like just hysterical, just
A panic attack.
banging and
Yeah.
screaming on the door, just losing it.
Oh my God. And in that way that you can only scream when you know no one can hear you,
Yeah. Oh my God.
if that makes sense.
Yes.
When it's like, because if there's a chance that someone can hear you, it's kind of like, hey, can you hear me? But if you know no one can hear you,
Yeah.
it's like
You've got to
rip
give
your
it all
throat
you've
out
got.
level.
Yeah.
Oh boy. She yanked the key. At this point, she's full on panicking. She yanked the key out of the lock and rattled the door handle a few more times. At this point, she told me she'd tried to check her phone to call someone to help her out, but there was no service. She tried the knob one last time before using the walkie-talkie to call for security to come save her, since the old building is a good distance away from any of the hospital units. On that final attempt, the door opened. She said the doorknob was unlocked and the door just swung open with ease.
That's like
Can you
trickster shit.
Yeah, it's just like, hee hee. It's not,
Yeah. It
obviously trying
knows
to
it's
keep you
making
in
her
forever.
panic.
Oh, yeah. And then I guess when you hit a certain level, it's like, okay, she's had enough. I'll open the door.
I'm over it.
I'm bored of this. I'm going to go fuck with somebody else. She put her foot in the doorway, grabbed the clothes off the floor where she had placed them, switched the lights, and bolted out of the room. She said she didn't even bother locking the door. She did close it, but she said that that was all the courage she could muster.
Yeah,
at the
that's
time.
enough.
I wouldn't have even done that. I think
Yeah,
I
I would
would
have
have
probably
ran
ran away.
out
Cartoon
and then I would
style,
have,
like arms out in front of me.
yeah, straight into a bathroom to hurl my guts out. And then I would have been like, hey, buddy, I need a buddy to come with me to retrieve the shit I was supposed to be down there
Yeah.
for. My friend was so spooked that she called me on her way up the tunnel and told me everything that happened. Of course, she shared her story with our other coworkers when she got back, and everyone agreed and believed her. Most people came into our hospital not believing in the supernatural, but after a few night shifts and trips to the big clothing closet, they changed their minds. It can get kind of scary. Dude, kind of scary is such an understatement.
Yeah,
for
just
that.
kind of scary. It was
It can
weird.
spook you. Yeah. You get ghost trapped in a room. It's a little
Oh my
spooky.
God. No.
Oh God. And what if, dude, like what if you had to radio to security knowing that building was far away and you just had to sit there in darkness and
Yeah,
wait
it's
for
going
them
to
to
take them
come?
like 5 minutes probably to get all the way over there to you. And you just have to sit there and it knows that you're waiting too.
Oh yeah.
This is worse.
I would turn into a puddle and slide under the door is how I would get out.
This next story was sent in by Allison. My grandmother's house has always made me uncomfortable. I've always sensed there was something in the house with me, and when I was in high school, I made the stupid decision to ask out loud what was there and to show me their story. So that night, I lay in bed trying to sleep when I felt myself fall through water. I sat up and looked at my clock and it read 3:33 a.m. I stood up in my bedroom, and the edges of my vision moved like I was looking through water. When I looked in the mirror that hung on the closet door, I wasn't myself. What peered back at me was a little girl in a yellow dress with black hair and suntanned skin of about 8 years old. I opened my door just to have a woman I knew to be her mother grab me and shut and locked the door. She carried me to the bed and held me on her lap, shielding me the best she could with her body. He's angry tonight. Stay very quiet. She covered my ears and the top of my head with her arms and hugged me close to her body. There was a man yelling down the corridor of the house, and I could hear footsteps stomping even on the carpet. The doorknob rattled, and I could feel her grip tighten on me to the point where it started to hurt. Open the fucking door now, a deep voice bellowed, and a tight fear gripped my chest. My heart was my heart was pounding against my chest. There was a sharp kick at the door, and it slammed open. The handle of the door crashed into the closet door, leaving a deep indentation. A black shadow man stood in the doorway. I could feel the heat and hatred coming off of him. At this point, the vision blurred and just disappeared as he began to come towards us. When the ripples of water cleared up, I was standing in the garage. This time I was with a young blonde boy who I knew to be my twin. In the garage are narrow stairs up to the attic. I always hated these stairs because they had no railing and were a long fall onto the concrete below. I hated going into the attic and avoided it whenever possible for this reason. The boy and I were climbing up the stairs to go into the attic for no other reason than childhood curiosity. I was standing on the bottom when he peeked over the landing of the attic. "Come on up," he cried out, and he came close to the edge of the landing and tripped over a piece of wood. His body fell out onto the concrete head first. There was a sickening crack, and the blood pooled around his hair like a halo. There was a far-off screaming that echoed in the garage. I think it was me. This vision rippled away, and I was brought back to the bedroom. This time, I was awoken by the mother. She'd obviously been crying, and she scooped me up and brought me to the bathroom. The tub was filling up with water. She sat on the toilet with me in her lap and held me and brushed my hair with her hand. "He misses you, you know. I just want you to be together again. All of us together again." She rocked back and forth with me in her arms until the tub was full, and she placed me in it, still dressed in my white and yellow nightgown. I was so confused why I was taking a bath with my clothes on. She pushed my head down. She pushed my head down under the water, and I started to flail. I scratched with my little nails and kicked as hard as I could, but her hand on my chest and the top of my head was so strong. I tried to scream, but water filled my mouth. My lungs burned from the lack of air. Her grip loosened on my head, and I pushed up, almost breaking the surface, but she slammed me back, and I heard a softened crack as my head hit the porcelain tub, and I stopped moving. Blood filled my vision as it spread from the back of my head into the water. My mouth dropped open, and I tasted metal as my vision went from red to black. I felt my consciousness rise, and I saw the image of the little girl's body in the tub staring up at me, and then felt a sharp tug in my chest. This time, I sat up in my own bed, and my own body gasping for air. My chest ached as if I had been holding my breath. I was so terrified I was still in my dream. I stood up and went to the mirror that still hung on the second closet door. I looked myself again. I looked at the other closet door and touched the deep indent that was in the door. We were not allowed to lock our doors growing up, so I never felt the urge to lock it. I checked the twist lock on the knob, and it spun in circles, broken. When I opened the door, I finally saw it lined up with the indent on the closet door as if someone in the past had kicked it open. It's been 10 years, and I've never gotten it fixed. I lack the knowledge to know where to search to see if what I lack the knowledge to know where to search to see if what I saw actually happened there, but it's something I've always wanted to do.
Woof.
That was rough. I mean, like super interesting, but really rough.
Oh, my stomach feels sick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm just sitting here thinking about how awful that is when
I know, I'm just super bummed out.
I know, dude. When somebody's like that mom, like who goes through something super traumatizing, like the loss of I'm assuming her kid, and then just fucking snaps. And like in that moment, that makes total sense. Like, oh, you just want to be together again. Oh, it's just fucking sad, man. Ugh.
Yeah, that's sad.
Okay, woof. All right. Our next story is from Melanie. First, I need to explain that I have suffered from sleep paralysis
Here we go.
my whole life. I have what you call recurrent sleep paralysis paranoia.
Gross.
Basically, what that
I didn't
means
mean gross. Like,
is that I
I just mean I don't. That just sounds terrible.
like your gut reaction is gross.
Gross.
Basically, what that means is I wake up. Mm. Uh, Basically, what that means is I wake up, but my body is still asleep. Quotes. This is due to the REM cycle in which our brains turn off our muscle functions, essentially paralyzing us so we don't act out our dreams. I've done a lot of personal studies on this, due to the severity in which I have it. Most people have one or two episodes, and if they do have it, it'll only happen every once in a while. But for me, I will wake up paralyzed, try to break free, and have it happen again. Sometimes this will happen once or twice, sometimes 6 to 9 times. I'm guessing
In an
in a
evening?
night. And yeah, I think in an evening, because she said
Oof.
most people, when they do have it, they'll only have it like once
Oh my
once a night,
gosh.
and
Ugh.
it can be very physically exhausting. Dude, I wonder at that point when you're just over it. Like you're like, okay, I know this is sleep paralysis. I know I'm gonna see some shit. I just want to go back to sleep.
I don't know. I don't know how it works. Like, I don't know if because you
Or
do
if you
still come out of that sleeping state. So it's like you don't have your full
yeah.
awareness, you know? So I feel like no matter what, there's
Oh,
going to be moments of like, fuck, what is this? You know, like, and that sucks.
I mean, dude, maybe it's just like fresh hell every single time. It's like
I
the
would
first
want to
time.
pull like
Oh,
how they do in Freddy Krueger to where they just stay up forever. Like, I would just not
yeah,
want to
yeah,
sleep.
yeah. Oh, God. On top of it being tough on my body, I also have the paranoia aspect of it, in which I feel like there's an evil presence with me in the room. You've probably heard the story about the old hag, the one where people wake up unable to move because she's sitting on top of you. This is what they this is what they reference when talking about sleep paralysis. Many have claimed to see, hear, or feel different things when they have an episode. Many studies and doctors state that this is due to the fact that we're still kind of in a dream. Excuse me, that we're still kind of in a dreamlike state and we're just imagining these things. And while I can say that yes, sometimes I have been in a dreamlike state, none of the experiences I had were merely imagined.
Hmm.
I always had this sense of an evil presence, and the fear of not regaining the ability to move scared me so much. Oh, that's probably the worst part for me, dude, is the not being able to move. I can't lie.
Yeah, I don't like
Thinking,
that.
oh, thinking this entity was waiting for me to give up so it can take me. When I was younger, it was just that feeling, but now that I'm older, the experiences have gotten worse. The first was in college. I was writing an essay about sleep paralysis from a journalistic standpoint, just stating the facts as an interesting topic that I happen to know a lot about. At this point, I hadn't had an episode in about 2 to 3 years, and it felt like I could view it from an outside perspective. But the day I was supposed to present my topic, I took a nap before class and had an episode. It was similar to the ones from my previous ones, but this time it was accompanied by a voice and the and the feeling of breath against my ear,
Why do they do that?
making the hair
Why do they love that so much?
get right up in your space. Making the hair on the back of my neck stand on end. Oh God, you're mine, it
Ew.
said. Your soul is mine. Give up.
I thought you were gonna say give it. Your soul is
Your
mine.
soul is
Give
mine.
it.
Give it. Oh, ugh. I'm laughing because I'm very uncomfortable. Before this, I knew I had always feared the entity, but I didn't know why. I didn't know that it was. I didn't know it was because it wanted my soul. I just knew it was evil. But now I knew. I used every ounce of my being to get my jaw to move. I have very bad TMJ because for a long time it was the only thing that could help me get out of my paralyzed state. Okay, so you're just you've worn the wheels off of your jaw.
Yeah.
Giving my presentation that day was hard because I was presenting it.
Yeah, that's
I was
fresh.
I was presenting it and on information on how to stop it from occurring and why these experiences were merely delusions. that experience was not a delusion. Great. So you just feel like a liar.
Mm-hmm.
Years went on and I would have some episodes, but the next one would be the worst. I had just moved into my boyfriend's apartment, who knew I had sleep issues and somehow had the ability to help me during sleep paralysis episodes. One night I woke up in a room. One night I woke up and our room had turned into a new dimension, the in between worlds. I had never experienced anything like this before. The only thing I could think was that I had recently started practicing witchcraft and truly embracing it. I wasn't scared at first, and I didn't feel any bad entities. I was looking at the door and how beautiful it looked. If you can imagine space peeking through your bedroom closet door. It was beautiful, but then it shifted. Suddenly, through one of those doors, a large, black, menacing dog walked through.
Black Shuck.
But that's what I'm thinking. It too looked to be space-like. At first, I thought it was part of this beautiful view. But then the room started to shift and become a deeper black. The stars and nebula dust disappeared. The big black dog grew bigger. Its eyes turned a vivid bright white, and it charged at me. At this point, I was saying my boyfriend's name. I taught myself how to talk without the use of my tongue, which sounds pretty weird, but it works! Exclamation. And he was able to help me out of the paralysis. I had never once had an experience like that. I never saw anything during an episode, but that experience was so real and frightening to me that it stayed with me for days. I couldn't help think about the Grimm, as dumb as that sounds, from Harry Potter, but like the real one. I went to my friend who is a witch and told her about the experience, who also felt that it was the Grimm I was seeing. She and I both feeling that it was a sign that something was going to happen and something that was bad, we quickly did a protection spell. Nothing terrible happened after that, so I feel that the spell worked. But I still go to bed scared that I will wake up to something like that again.
Yeah.
Man, Black Shuck. Also, what a horrible trick to like see this beautiful space world.
Oh, yeah. And then he bucks up.
Yeah, JK. You don't get to enjoy anything.
You're in hell now.
Your soul, gimme.
Let me get my...
I've never had... Have you ever had sleep paralysis? I think I've asked you this a million times, but I have never had it. Have you had it?
No.
I dread the day.
Yeah, I sleep face down, honestly, for that reason. Just because I don't want to see anything.
It's just you staring into your pillow for like 5 to 6 minutes.
That's just what I do. Like I put my, and I do, I sleep under my pillow too. So I sleep face down under my pillow. So it's like, I'm not seeing shit.
And your armpits better be locked down too, man.
That shook me.
The pit poker.
That is just awful. Just awful. Oh my God.
How do you breathe?
I make a tunnel.
Okay.
Duh. I have a story for you.
Yeah. Okay.
Cammy W wrote it and sent it to us.
So it's not your story. You're a liar.
I didn't write it. Yeah. I have a story for you. Antioch Rest Cemetery in Grandview, Texas, or Alvarado, Texas, is what made me believe for sure that there are things we can't see with our eyes and that the paranormal is a real thing. Growing up in Alvarado, there's not much to do. And one night, 2 of my friends came over in a rush and panicked.
Living about 20 minutes from Alvarado, I can confirm.
I concur. They told me earlier that day at school they were going to a haunted graveyard, and I didn't really much believe in all of that stuff. I did by this time in my life see a few things I couldn't explain, but tried to just ignore it. But I met them on my porch and they had said that the graveyard was haunted for sure, and they had video. The guy was red and sweaty and didn't talk much, but my girlfriend showed me a video of them walking, and then they see a trail that leads strangely to the railroad tracks that are like 30 feet or so to one side. But instead of railroad, they saw more graveyard. As they got closer to the corner, the guy in the video keeps saying that his back itches. So they stop, and on the camera, it was his back all cut up and bleeding, but she wasn't looking at the screen and tells him he's okay while brushing his back and shirt, thinking it's bugs or something. So it's like, oh, it's nothing. You're fine, bro.
Just slaps his cuts.
Then they see something and they both jump and run back to the car and lock it while having a laugh like teens do after a rush. And then they watch the recording and see the blood. They check his back and there are some scratches, but only like red marks from itching, but in the same place as the video. Now I'm freaked out and grab the cell phone, and my friends go to show my dad or someone, and the video disappears. We search her cell for it and nothing. I ask them to take me, and the guy, now starting to talk, refused. To this day, he will not even acknowledge the name or the fact that it's a thing. So that was my introduction to the site. Later, I get the address and 2 friends to take me, and we wait until it's almost midnight to go. We were also warned. Yeah. We were also warned that there was an old man who lived next to the graveyard and would shoot and do not close the gate behind you. So be careful. We get there and it's creepy as hell. I'm looking for the trail in the video, but I don't see it anywhere. And that kind of freaks me out a bit. And I'm walking, and as I'm walking, I hear footsteps all around me. And then one friend says, "Oh shit, get down." And I drop and look and see, and what he's looking at, and we see a little house and the back door light flicks on. And then I start to hear giggling, but like far away sounding. And the old man walks out and looks like he's about to go in, and then lets out a dog and it starts barking, and he yells for whoever is there to get. Oh, so we do. And as fast as we can. The other 2 heard the footsteps, but not giggling. They heard something say, "Stay with us." And it was a while before we went back, but we did quite a few more times, and sometimes it was kind of nice, and others it was terrifying. I was probably about 20 the time I went there with my now husband and his best friend and his lady. We pull up, and I immediately saw where the old man's house should have been was a creek with huge trees. And I pointed this out to my husband, who had seen that house and nice backyard for the dog, and we knew something was up. Trees that big are not just replanted. So we tell our friends to be safe and don't separate. I also forgot to tell them not to close the gate. This night was a new moon, so no natural light. But in the graveyard, it was almost like the sky turned green, like what I imagined what northern lights would be. And I was thinking it was one of the industrial production areas, until my friend points out that it's coming from the wrong direction. And the girlfriend says, "Maybe it's fireworks." So we wait to see if it changed at all. And no, just a creepy light. So we walk around reading headstones and showing them the area when we move to the side by the tracks. And I start walking off a little, not really paying attention. And I'm almost to the corner with the creepy trail in the video, but it's not there. I've never seen it. But I get to a tree and I hear the single most terrifying sound I've ever heard from like 2 feet in front of me. I swear it was a demon scream. In the movies when it's only a few octaves stacked. Oh, that's miserable.
Ew.
I hate that. I hate that
Oh,
severely.
I hate it. Oh God, when it's like a layered.
I hate that. I hate that so much. But this one was all of the octaves and like rocks grinding all at the same time. I jump back and start running backwards. Something in me says, "Don't turn your back." And I run past the girlfriend and grab her hand as she is running and get to the gate that is shut. And jump it as well. As we all get to the car, we hear heavy footsteps in the cow pasture, like a huge bull. But as we pull out and run the headlights over the field, there's nothing. We get the fuck out. There is one more story this time, and it's a nice one. So my husband, his best friend, his sister, and her husband all mob over there. We get there and it's a nice summer night and we were having a good time just reading stones and joking with each other. The brother-in-law sees a white dog and grabs his lady and asks if that's normal. We turn to see a pure white, I don't know, husky type dog, and it slowly comes forward. And my husband calls it over, and it sticks its head in his hand and wags its tail. And he grabs its leather collar and tag, and the tag is just a silver piece, no marks. We all pet the good boy, and he starts to wander off to the creek. And before it gets to the fence, it's like it phases out of existence.
Oh.
Then we hear its collar coming from the other side, and we all look, and it reforms in front of our eyes. We're all taken back by this because we all just touched this dog thing. I don't know, but it hangs out with us as we explore a bit. As we explore a bit more to watch this dog do this a few more times, disappearing in front of us and reforming behind or to the side. Then it does this and does not return. And that's when we decided that was strange enough for one night and went home. All of us confused, but not scared.
He's just checking things out.
That is cool.
He's just roaming around.
Oh, that is really, really, really cool.
Maybe he's...
This place almost sounds like it's almost Skinwalker Ranchy. Like there's like dimension, like how the trail disappeared and then the house that was supposed to be there is not there anymore. Like, it's what it sounded like.
I gotta tell you, I know this exact cemetery. I live, like I said, 15, 20 minutes from it. I know where it is. I've passed it many times. We can hit this up.
I don't know if I want to, though.
I mean...
In the day. I'll go in the day. I'm not fucking around going at night.
Yeah. We'll go in the day. Well, sure. We can go in the day.
Like, that's okay. I can handle it. I'm a solar witch. I need that extra boost of, like, you know, I'm really wilty and easy to take over in the nighttime.
What about dusk?
A little before dusk.
Okay.
You know, look, like golden hour. We can go at golden hour at the latest.
Agreed.
Okay. See, that's compromise.
It's a date. All right, guys, stick around for that on a future Spookysode. We'll go find Old Man Jenkins and, you know, see the ghost dog and whatnot. Our next story comes to us from Mackenzie W. I've always liked the name Mackenzie. I wanted to share one of the many supernatural experiences that has happened to my dad. This is the way he told it to me, and the way I know it to be true. Before I was born, my dad was a security guard in Corvallis. He did nightly shifts at many different locations, but the only one that matters is the Corvallis Clinic, which is still in operation today. The security guard worked in teams of 2, and my dad was working a night shift with an older, more experienced guard. The clinic was, by all accounts, a pretty typical, busy doctor's office during the day. At night, however, the empty, cold hospital feeling was inescapable. Corridors were so quiet that all you could hear was the buzzing of fluorescent lights, the sound of your own footsteps, and the jingle of keys on your belt as you paced the hallways, scanning for anything unusual. Keep in mind, there are only 2 men in the building, and neither of them are using the elevators. As my dad turns a corner to walk down the hallway, he sees the heel of a bare foot just slip around the next corner, the end of the hall. Obviously, he sprinted after this person, only to round the same corner and find an empty corridor. The barefoot thing makes it worse. Granted, this could have been a very fast person who ran the length of the hallway before my dad could catch a glimpse. But judging by what happened next, I am inclined to believe that this was not a living person at all. My dad continued, My dad continued his shift, uneasy about what he saw and hyper-vigilant, expecting to see the intruder at any moment. Because I guess if you're a security guard, your first thought isn't, it's a ghost. You're like, who's here?
Yeah.
Without warning, there was a tremendous thumping sound coming from the nearby elevator. That now indicated that, nearby elevator that now indicated it was moving down to the main floor.
Ooh.
This sounded like someone was pounding their fists against the door and the walls of the elevator as hard as they could. It was loud enough that both my dad and the other guard heard it from opposite sides of the clinic, and they both immediately ran to investigate. Both of them stood in the lobby in front of the elevator, weapons in hand, waiting for the doors to part and reveal whomever was inside. The elevator dinged, and when the doors opened, there was no one inside. There were two sets of footprints, one that looked like a men's shoe and another that was clearly a high-heeled woman's shoe. These footprints covered the floor, went up the walls, and were even on the ceiling.
What?
My dad and the other guard both went into the elevator and looked around, noticing that all 6 surfaces of the elevator were marked with sets of these prints.
Oh.
I'm not sure whether they finished the shift or just called it a night at this point, but I do know that my dad has held on to this story for 25 years, as he flippin' should.
Yeah, that's bananas.
That is weird. Because like my first thought was like, oh, maybe somebody was banging on the walls because maybe there was an altercation between these two people or something. But then like the footprints don't make sense. And also he saw a barefoot.
A barefoot. Yeah.
So what was that? Oh, okay. And there's a second story here, and they started off thankfully with, on a lighter note. Oh, I have a story about something that happened to me a few years ago. I'm a preschool teacher, and in 2018, I was working as a co-teacher to a woman in her 70s. She was very strict and very Irish with a thick accent and a great sense of humor. She was awesome, and I learned a lot from her. Our program doesn't have school on Fridays, but the teachers still work an 8-hour shift and do paperwork, lesson planning, etc. On one particular Friday, my co-teacher lost her wedding ring. Except it wasn't technically her wedding ring, it was her late husband's. He had passed a while back from cancer, and she wore his ring on the same finger as hers. His was a bit big, so it must have slid off at some point. Needless to say, she was devastated. We searched the entire room, the playground, the hallway. She even went out to look in her car. The whole time she had tears in her eyes because it was one of the last things that she had left of her husband. We could not find the ring, and watching this strong woman break down in front of me was more than my heart could take. After about 2 hours, she resigned to just carry on with the workday, but you could see in her face that she was heartbroken. I am someone who loses things frequently, and I have a little spell on my cast. Oh, nope. And I have a little spell that I cast in my head to orient myself and increase my likelihood of finding my lost items. It had worked in the past, so I closed my eyes and tried it when she was out of the room. I call in the quarters, sorry, that was super southern. I call in the quarters, feeling each direction in my head and greeting the corresponding elements. Essentially, casting a circle. I orient myself and call out mentally, help me find what is lost. Super simple. Then I thank the elements and in turn and close my mental circle. Sometimes it takes a while to find the item, but it usually works. I sat down in the blue rocking chair in the corner, satisfied that I had at least done my part, but still very sad for my co-teacher. Above the rocking chair is a shelf full of snow globes. Preschoolers love snow globes, and sometimes we use them as a calm down activity. After about 30 seconds, I was startled by a snow globe playing its melody right above my head. Obviously, no one had touched them, let alone wound them up. But the twinkling song played for at least 10 seconds. This had never happened before and has not happened since. I stood up to look closer at the snow globes, and for some reason, for the first time that day, I noticed the light shining through the window. It shone in a beam onto the carpet to the right of the chair, a place we had thoroughly searched many times that morning. The gold of the ring blinked in the sunlight. I like to think that it was her late husband watching over her, who saw her sadness and gave me a little push in the right direction. Even now typing this, it gives me chills and brings tears to my eyes. Dude, that is sweet.
That's adorable.
That's so sweet.
And I'm glad she got her ring back. I was worried.
I was too, man. I don't like hearing stories of people being sad.
I don't either. Not like that. That kind of devastation, like,
Yeah.
and I know that feeling, the realization that comes from like consequence, when you have to accept your fate of like this new
Yeah.
reality, and it's
Yeah.
miserable.
Oh yeah. When you're just like, well, I guess it's gone. There's nothing else I can do but go back to work.
Oh, that's so sad.
Oh, I'm glad she got it back.
This story comes from Maddie A.
Maddie, yay.
First of all, I come from a long line of secret witches from Louisiana and Wales. So ghost
Oh.
stories are kind of a thing in my family, but I'm the one who sees them most. I grew up in West Tennessee, and when I was 5, we moved into this beautiful red brick colonial house that was closer to town. The woman who we bought the house from was Miss Jetty Lane, and she left a bunch of old toys and dresses in the attic. My parents later turned the attic space into a walk-in closet / playroom for my older sister and I. First spooky thing, there was a guest room downstairs across the hall from my parents' bedroom. I remember vividly this 4-poster bed with a sheer canopy flowing around it. I remember sitting on the bed talking with a man who came from upstairs. I brought this to my mom's attention a few months ago, and she said, I remember that bed too. Thing is, there wasn't ever a bed in that room. Or if there was, it had been taken out before we ever bought the house. Ew, that's some like Haunting of Hill House shit.
Oh, like a complete
Like
thorough like
the
memory.
red door. Yeah, like the
Yeah.
red door room. Oh. Second spooky thing, and this is a big one. I had fallen so deeply in love with this 4-post canopy bed that I begged my mom for one of my own. We were pretty tight on funds, having just moved into a new house, so my mom used her carpentry skills to craft me a canopy using PVC piping that she attached to my existing bed frame and sewed a canopy out of fabric I picked out from Walmart. The first night I was able to sleep in my canopy bed. It was in the middle of the room with the head against the window and the foot facing the door to the walk-in closet. I was just starting to fall asleep when my bed shook.
No.
I remember thinking it may have been the cat jumping up and noticing when the cat was up on my, and then noticing that the cat was up by my pillow. When I opened my eyes, the cat was standing alert with her back arched and hair standing straight up, hissing at the foot of my bed. By this point, the bed was shaking like crazy, so I sat up and saw a shadow. The shadow was of a man, and he had his hands on each post at the foot of the bed, shaking it as hard as he could. We stared at each other for a few seconds, and then he formed into a mist and took off through the closet door, which slammed once he got past it. What a prick.
I know. Also, I love that like this kid sits up, shoots him like death eyes, and he just kind of goes, fine, storms off.
Slams the door behind him.
Yeah. Ugh.
The next day, I told my mom that Floyd, who lives in the attic, shook my bed the night before. She promptly told me that I must have been dreaming and not to worry about it. I saw Floyd regularly the entire time we lived in that house. Sometimes he would just peek around corners. Other times, he would come out of my closet and move something on my shelf. When he did this, I'd ask him to put it back, and he would before returning to his sanctuary in the attic. When we moved out in 2003, I brought him up to my mom again. She told me that she saw him too. One time, he threw a pen at her from across the room. My guess was because she was actively ignoring him. She said that he had died in the downstairs guest room. He was Miss Jetty Lane's late husband who died in the 80s. Since then, I've had a medium regularly. I have seen a medium regularly. In one of my first readings, she brought up a shadow I had seen in my early childhood. The cat that I had was protecting me. Yeah, I have a ghost cat. And my aunt, who passed in 97, went back to the house after we moved to help Floyd cross over. So that's my spooky story. Stay witchy, bitches.
You know, since Floyd didn't really do anything like that, he didn't feel like he was trying to hurt anybody. I like to think that when he was shaking the bed, he was just so pumped to see another 4-post bed.
Oh,
He was shaking
yeah.
it.
You did it.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, you got one!" And then she like sat up and was like looking at him like, what the fuck are you doing? And he got all butthurt and kind of just like, okay, I was just excited, and like slams the door.
I like to imagine, so like he wakes her up shaking it, because he's all excited. And then as they're making eye contact, he's still shaking it. Just
just eyes locked.
He's already been acknowledged, but he's still going for
he's
it.
Just, I like Floyd. He sounds like a good
I'm
time.
all right with Floyd.
Also, dude, what is it with like spirits after they die? This obsession with just moving things.
I don't know. Maybe they're trying to practice.
Yeah, they're like, oh, just move, and they're like trying to get their strength up. Kind of like in Kill Bill when she's like trying to move her toe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just what they're doing. Maybe some days they can't pull it off. Like, maybe like barometric pressure and shit plays into it or whatever, And like
what they're trying to do is like throw something across the room, but it just scoots a couple of inches.
Yeah. And so that's all. But they got to practice, damn it. You got to try.
Yeah.
Miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Oh, man. I think that wraps up our listener stories.
It do.
Macy.
Uh-huh.
Give them all the info they need if they would like their story read on the Witch Bitch Spooky Time Tale Hour. Huh?
If you want to send us a story for us to read, you can. You can write us an email and put spooky in the title. And keep in mind, we have a lot, so it might not get read for a while, but we do read them, like read on the show. But we do read them, and if you want to send one in, we don't think you're like I know that some people in the coven are like, oh, I've been like nervous to send one in. We don't think you're crazy. We believe anything, honestly. So don't worry about that.
That's our tagline. Wabah, we believe anything.
We believe anything.
Merch.
Oh, we need a bunch of those because like towards like wabah ... because we have like simply captivating. We believe anything.
We'll believe anything.
And it's just shitty, like black on white or white on black, and just like
Comic Sans. Comic Sans.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Outstanding podcast of the year 2020.
Oh my God. I love that. Oh man. Woof. Well, there you go.
Final thoughts on the Spookysode before you go have your oatmeal dinner. There were a couple in there that made my gut kind of
expand. Yeah.
But I do think we had quite a few little sweeties, like the grandparents reaching through and stuff like that. All in all, good 14th episode. Now the 15th, we should try to make something happen with this. Maybe we go down to that cemetery in Alvarado and try to see what's up. Hey, we bartered.
Is that the one where that
on dusk
sweet ass dog was?
Yes, that we might see. Macy, see if we go at dusk and like when it's still light out, we might see the sweet ass dog.
The sweet ass dog. Emphasis makes it.
I love doing that, dude. All right. Well, until next time, say goodnight, Macy.
Good night and good luck.